Hello there, ladies, gentlemen, and unicorns. I know what you're thinking, but no, this hasn't turned into a hardware-only YouTube channel. No, this is out of necessity because my old computer, this one here, after 6 or 7 years of tiresome service, it's close to just crapping out. I was having blue screens of death almost on a daily basis now, and you can guess how much fun it is to do some editing work. And also if you need it for work, I just couldn't work like this. But thankfully, it was just in time that I could afford a new computer, and this is what we're going to build today. So this is somewhat an educational video of how to build a PC, or knowing myself of how not to build a PC, but I thought it might be interesting. I asked around and my patrons decided, yes, they want to see a video of this. So big shout out to all my lovely patrons. Thank you so much. I'm just so glad that I have you. And for everyone else, I hope you enjoyed this video as well. Just get something to drink, kick back, open something more interesting in another tab of your browser, and let's get started. So first thing we need to take care of is our tools. What kind of tools we're having today. Let's get the second camera here. Okay, my tools for today are just this paper knife here to open up all the boxes. This is a regular big screwdriver, and this, my favorite small screwdriver. It has there a flathead and a crosshead. Is it called crosshead? And if you look real closely, it has here this Media Vision logo still on it, because this one here came with my very first sound card, which was in 1995, I think. So Media Vision is now completely defunct, but I still got this nifty tool here. And yeah, it helped me build all my computers ever since. And for some more intricate screwdriver work, let's get this open here. I have this screwdriver here with all sorts of different bits. I think we'll be using the Torx bit, I'm assuming, but yeah, just to be on the safe side, I got everything that I need. Also, of course, scissors to open up stuff, and compressed air. Also very helpful if you want to clean up the sockets. And knowing me, I also got here 2 band-aids ready, because yeah, I know that I will probably cut myself, and yeah, just that there's no blood that gets into the socket. You don't want this, even if you're the type who likes to run their computer on human blood. Okay, and another important thing here is, of course, I got the 2 manuals for the case and the motherboard, because those we'll be referencing quite often. Okay, so this is it for the tools. Oh wait, I also got some paper towels here, you never know, and a little battery-powered light, just so you can see stuff better. Okay, the plan for today is we're going to take this computer apart, not entirely. I still want to run the basic system there, because I don't know how long it takes me to get the new one up to speed. So we'll be taking most of this out and put it in there, and of course assemble a new one. Okay, before we get into the thick of it, let's just review the components that I got for my new system. First up, we have here the motherboard. It's the ASUS or ASUS, or however you want to call it, the Prime X 399A. I think it's of the Republic of Gamers label brand, I don't know. And it even got some cute RGB lighting, which I couldn't care less about. But who knows, maybe this one will be my first RGB lit PC. So maybe I will get into it and have the whole room just light up. You never know, you never know. Then, of course, we have the heart of the whole system, the CPU. And I mean, look at this. This is a real beast. This is the Ryzen Threadripper. What's it called? 2970WX. This beast here has 24 cores. I don't know if I need them all, but better safe than sorry. As you know, I do a lot of video editing stuff, and also have some other very processor intense stuff that I do with all my color grading. which is also GPU intense. Either way, I just want to be sure that whatever I stick in my system will be there a long time and it's relevant for a long time. Because in this one here, I have an Intel PC. I've been an Intel fanboy, I think, ever since my first computer, which was an IBM Aptiva 486. So this is my first time switching over to AMD, because with the prices of the Intel chips right now, it's really not affordable. You just can't justify buying an Intel PC if you get more bang for the buck out of Ryzen processors. So this one goes into a matching motherboard. Then the next thing that's important is the memory, the RAM. And again, I invested heavily in 64 gigabytes of RAM, which will be more than enough for my purposes. But like I said, I will do also other stuff with my PC. That's rendering and 3D stuff and maybe some simulations. And you never can have enough RAM for this. So with 64 gigs of RAM, it's just incredible. So I think we'll be on the safe side here. Then as for the system drive, look at this. We're in SSD land now. When I assembled this one, I think there weren't even SSDs back then. And now this one here is an M2 SSD, which means it sticks right in a slot in the motherboard. And this will be real fast. So I hope my boot times will be a little bit better than with this old beast here. Next up, of course, we need some kind of cooling solution for the chip, because this one will produce a lot of heat. And for this, I trust only the regional manufacturers, Noctua. Noctua is an Austrian brand, and they just have some great fans. And this is the NH-U14STR4SP3. I don't know what this all means. The most important part is that you need to check everything fits together. So the chip fits on the motherboard, and the fan fits onto the chip on the motherboard, and so on and so on. And then we need to power this whole thing. And for this, I also invested in something worthwhile. And this is a prime titanium 1000 watts PSU, power supply unit. I don't think that my system will need this much power, but you never know. Maybe I will, in the future, will change the graphics cards to an SLI system. Who knows? Or maybe I put something in there that will draw a lot of power. So you never know. You never know. And this is why I invested in 1000 gigawatts, or just 1 kilowatt of power. So I don't think that I will need all of this all the time, but it's just good to have something in there. And finally, the whole case. So let's make some room here just to show you the case, because I haven't seen it myself. I just unpacked it, and this is what came out of the box. And if I recall it, this is a Cooler Master. Wait, I can tell you here. It says it's a Dark Base Pro Revision 2 from Be Quiet. So let's all be quiet and bask in the glory. Holy crap. Oh my God. Did you hear this? This was static electricity. Oh my God, this doesn't bode well for inserting the CPU. But yeah, we will see how that goes. Okay, so let's have a look at it from the other side. So you can see here is a big window, so you can look into your PC and say, hi, computer people, how are you all doing with my files? What's probably important is what's on the front. And what I really like about this, that it looks really clean. There's really not much there that you can mess up or bump into. The power switch is up there. We got some USB 3 and 3.1. And I think this is even a powered USB slot. Yeah. And of course, we got even a pad here where you can charge your phone wirelessly, because sure, why not? So this, my God, this is a beast. But yeah, I like my PC towers as big as they come, because you never know how much stuff you want to cram in there. And as long as it's quiet, really, I don't care about how large it will be, because in the end, it will be buried under my table. A fun fact, this also comes with RGB stuff. So apparently this is what the cool kids do. Colored lights on their computer. I guess I'm too old. I don't get it. Okay, so more bookkeeping. If you got wearing any rings or stuff like this, especially when you're assembling the motherboard and putting the CPU on there, you really want to avoid some static electricity. Usually I never really cared much about it, but I'm pretty confident that it will be fine. But we will get to this in a bit. First, let's take apart the old computer here. I don't know if you can see it, it's a little bit dusty already from years of neglect. Well, not so much neglect. It was just under my table for many years, close to the floor. And I mean, when I was vacuuming it, maybe I just put out the air filter and sucked it clean. But apart from that, yeah, I think I just cleaned it 4 or 5 times ever since I had it. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit dusty. Let's have a look at the other side so you can see my spectacular cable management. Yeah, it's not a much of cable management, but either way, it worked fine. And as long as I managed to get the cover up and didn't squeeze any cables, so it was fine. It was fine. So which components are we going to keep and which should go? Good. What we have here, of course, is another Noctua cooler. Maybe I can repurpose this fan here. So this one was just responsible for the airflow that everything there from gets out there. This, of course, is the graphics card. Underneath there is the CPU. The graphics card we will be migrating. This is GTX 1080, not Ti, just the plain 1080. Yeah, I couldn't afford a new graphics card, and this one will also work in this one. I got an old 960, GTX 960, I think, which was in there before, which will be sticking in there again so that I can just boot this machine there again. Oh, look at this, we have another plane. Next up, we have here this one. Let's be sure. Yeah, this one is part 1 of the Sound Blaster X5Z series or whatever it was. I've always been a Sound Blaster kid ever since my second sound card. The first one, as you recall from my screwdriver, was the Media Vision sound card, but it was fully Sound Blaster compatible, which was good for good old DOS games. So yeah, we will be taking out the sound card and also in there, but it will occupy 2 PCIe slots. So it's just something we need to look out for. And I think this is pretty much it with the expansion slots. So we will be taking out the graphics cards, the sound card, the power supply unit will stay in there. And let's have a look there at this horrible management of hard drives. I will zoom in here a little so you can see better. So I got 1, 2, 3 drives still in there. And what's horrible about this is the SSDs are not really properly aligned in there. They just sit on top of each other. So yeah, you probably shouldn't do this. But yes, because since I knew I was changing systems anyway, I couldn't be bothered. But this is not how you should do it. So let's take out what we can and salvage anything that we need from this one. Okay, first is plugging anything off. Oh my god. So I'm starting with the graphics cards because this one is the heaviest. And the cool thing about this case here is that I got these orange tongues here and I just can take out like this. And I don't need a screwdriver, but apparently I do, of course, because so you have these little tabs here, right? And if you stick a card in, they just go like this and you need to push them so that you can get the card out. And the problem here is with the graphics card, I don't know where it goes. And if you see this one here, this is already broken off here. So yeah, way to go, Phil, way to go. Yeah, this white thing there on the left, this is what I need to push down. Also, by the way, you probably shouldn't be doing this with a screwdriver. Well, otherwise you would cause all kinds of short circuits, perhaps. But like I said, I've never had any problems, so this should be fine. So let's take out the graphics card. Yes, this is more like it. Good, good, good. Oh God, oh God, this is so dusty. Oh God, since we'll be using this one, I need really to dust it off. So I just put it here that it sits there. And next up is the sound blaster. Okay, and let's take out the sound blaster. Oh my God, I think I need to be cleaning this as well. Oh, good. So, and this is pretty much anything we want from this system in terms of the PCI slots. Before continuing, let's put in the old graphics card so that I just have a usable system again. Like I said, in case I need to boot this up again, which I probably will anyway. Okay, and I'm back with the graphics card. I just checked the cameras and I'm not quite sure if the small one was recording all the time. So let's just reiterate what I've been doing the past 20 minutes. Yeah, essentially I just have taken out the old graphics cards from my old computer and the sound card, which comes in two components. This is the sound card, which I've also taken out. And that we can continue, I will put in my old graphics cards, like I said, so this computer will still be running. And here you can get a clear view of the tab that was broken off. This one here, yeah, you really want to avoid this. After a couple of years, this becomes real brittle and will easily break off. So I hope the new motherboard won't have this problem, but since it's also an ASUS motherboard, we will see how well it goes. Oh my God, this is so dusty. So this was the graphics card I had in there before. It's the GeForce GTX 970. Woo, 970 with incredible 4 gigs of onboard video RAM, which is laughable by today's standards. But back then, I don't think I was using it for any games. That was, just completely using it up. Instead, all my other programs, especially the color grading stuff, is really hungry when it comes to video RAM. The old box of the ASUS edition of the graphics cards, and I hope it's still in there. Yes, it's still in there. It's a, let me get this out here. It's the Palette GeForce 66 Ti Jetstream. So apparently this is not the 970, but instead, yeah, the GTX 66 Ti. Anyway, I don't care. I just want a graphics card in there, so we should do it. But this is false advertising. Why did I put this one in here? In this box. All right, now let's put this sucker in here. It's really not that dusty. Apparently, you shouldn't put graphics cards into your computer. They only get dirty, so you really want to keep them in their original box. Okay, this is pretty easy. You just have to make sure that it's lined up correctly and then gently but firmly push it in. Right, like so, until you hear this little tab snap back at the end. Let's make sure. Sorry for my shaky hand, but yes, this looks good. And last thing we need to do is to connect it up to the PSU. By the way, as you can see here, I'm taking absolutely all the liberties that I have in terms of airflow. Usually you want to have the airflow unobstructed, that it just, the radiators there or the fans just either suck in the air, the cool air from below, get it in the system, and then through all the components and through the heat dissipating grids here and just blow them out on the backside. And of course, you don't want to get any cables or components in there because this one would create turbulences and mess things up. And yeah, in short, your computer won't be any cooler. Talking about cooling solutions, there, of course, I could have used some kind of liquid coolant, but I don't, because I don't like the thought of having something liquid inside your computer. And it's also quite a hassle with the pumps and stuff. So yeah, it's all air cooled all the way. And now we only need to take out the remaining hard drives. So I will just keep the system hard drive in there. And because a little bit on the pedantic side, everything is properly labeled. So first we need to turn this around here. First we need to unplug all the cables. Everything is clearly labeled, so I know that this one is my system disk, which I will keep. Good. So all the others I can just take out and plug off or unplug. So yeah, Like I said, this is not how you organize hard drives, but for me, it worked at least as long as this one was still alive and kicking. Only the system drive is still in there, so let's just put it back in there. I really don't care. I don't really care if the system disk is just there. So this is another SSD, and now I can just take them out here. They're still in their little holders or trays, which we'll need to take care of as well. But there goes my files. There's the Dropbox on there and the aluminium. So, and this almost concludes the disassembly of this piece here. Last thing to do is, of course, just get the drives out of their little trays. And that's really simple, right? If you've assembled it yourself, you probably know it's just taking some screws out. I don't know why there weren't enough screws for hard drives. It was just 2 screws per tray, but of course you can clearly see there are holes for 4 trays. So I don't know what's up with that. So that I just don't lose those screws. Like I said, I'm pretty pedantic in terms of this. So I just stick them back in here and put the tray back in. And yeah, just have an empty tray. And the worst thing that can happen to you is that you drop a screw behind the motherboard and you just hear it drop and fall. And then it just jingles somewhere, even short-circuiting something, you never know. And this is why I'm always very cautious not to drop any screws. Of course, there are screwdrivers which have magnets on top, but I also don't like those because, I mean, the good old hard drives are still magnetic media, and I don't know how much magnetism is okay if you get close to them or not. So this is why all my bits and screwdriver pieces are not magnetic. It's a little bit more fidgety and cumbersome, but in the end, I just want to better be safe than sorry, because it's okay if I just curse for an hour or 2 it takes to assemble this thing than for the rest of my life because I just had this and deleted something off the surface of the disk. Okay, the last one, this one here. This was very interesting. Of course, you had this transition period from SSDs or classical HDs to SSDs. And of course, most of the cases didn't have slots. So this is why they came in those little trays there, which you could mount in the other tray, like so. And then you would have an SSD in a slot for a 3.5 inch. Since I'm a European, I don't really know how something translates from inches to centimeters. So America, really get your shit sorted out. No one else uses the imperial system. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. Really, if you once go to centimeters and metric, you will love it, I promise. Good. So to recap, we've taken out the graphics card and the sound card and all the hard drives that are not imperative just to run the basic system. Oh my God, it's so dirty. And I think I can put this one down and close it up again, because we now can concentrate on getting the new system running, because otherwise I won't be having a computer tonight, and this is untenable. This is not something I'm looking forward to, so better get started. Oh God, this is heavy. Okay, I've made some more space and got some more important tools. First one here is a bag of cable ties. For cable management, I don't know whether I will be needing them or not, but on the other hand, it's just better to try at least to keep some organization going on in your new case. The other thing here is I got a stubby little screwdriver. You can't have enough screwdrivers because sometimes you don't have the room to get the whole long screwdriver there, and this one there is just a little bit more friendly for CPU cases. And since we'll probably be having a lot of screws lying around, I don't want to get screwed by losing any. And this is why I use this little cup. Is it a cup? I don't know. Who knows? But all my screws will go in there, that I don't lose them. Because when you're assembling computers, there's just so much stuff going on that you really don't want anything to lose anything or anything bad happen to either component. Okay. So we're going to start now by taking out the motherboard and inserting the chip the heart of it. This is easily the most sweat-inducing stuff because, of course, the chip is the most important component. Without it, you don't have a computer system. And it's also very fragile and sensitive, and you can do things wrong. It's not that hard anymore to do things wrong or to insert stuff the wrong way, but still you need to be a little bit careful. And also you have to have dry hands. I wanted to after this whole stuff with the old computer that was very dusty, I wanted to wash my hands right now, but don't do this. It's better to have dirty but dry hands when working on the motherboard. Okay, so let's take it apart. I've already taken out here the user guide, which will be, like I said, referencing a lot. I don't know why some people brag that they don't need user guides. Seriously, come on, man. In the end, that's just, it's not your personal adversary just reading this. It's not a shortcoming of some way, it's just there to help you. I mean, just look at this. This is in case you don't know how to put in the RAM bars into the corresponding slots. This is not rocket science, this is really just helpful. And the ASUS manuals so far, in my experience, they are pretty good. If you know what you're doing, you get the whole diagram there of the motherboard with all the connectors, and then just walks you through step by step what to do and what everything is, and yeah, how to connect up stuff, and even what goes where's the ground pin, the current pin, and so on and so forth. So Chapter 2 here says with basic installation, and it starts there with how to load the chip. This is pretty self-explanatory, but nevertheless, let's keep the manual open. And let's unbox now here the motherboard. So again, there is a helpful flyer with CPU installation, and there's the motherboard, and still in its little anti-static bag. Is there anything underneath? Of course there is. Never stop digging in boxes, because sometimes there's you don't know how deep a box is when you open it up, and usually there's always stuff underneath. So there's the back cover for the motherboard, some SATA S80A, however you want to say it, cables, safety informations, the front panel, or is it another back plate, I think. Oh dear, I don't know what this is. Some more cables. Screws, I think, for positioning the motherboard in extended ATX cases, I think, I don't know. This one here looks to be like ASUS ROG SLI bridge. Okay, so this is if you have two graphics cards in there that you want to connect them by SLI, this is what you stick on there. This is good to have, and some more. And of course, optical media. How nice is this? Why not throw in a USB drive? And we got some more stuff here, but I think this is just packaging. It feels pretty light, and I don't think we'll be missing anything, but I don't think I'll be needing the AMD X399 chipset support DVD revision 1288.04. Yeah, I think if I manage to get this thing running, we'll be downloading the latest drivers from the internet anyway, so this is fine. Good, so I will keep now this one here, just as to have some kind of base to work off. And this is where you really want to think about static electricity. I'm not doing this on a rug or a carpeted floor. This is a hardwood floor. And sorry, I bumped the camera. This is a hardwood floor, and I have a radiator behind me, which I will touch right now. So because this is grounded, so that any static electricity just goes right there. I've seen people standing in boxes or wearing shoes with rubber soles, or both, or just having this little band where it's just like a bracelet where you could just clip on something that's grounded. I've never did this before. I just did it like this, so yeah, I think I'm good. No static electricity anymore. And never had any problems. All over the years, the only thing that I had was blue screens, so But how about that? Anyway, so let's hope I won't be doing any. Ouch! Ah, damn it! Those pins are real sharp. So yeah, I don't think I will be doing anything wrong. And if I am, well, the internet needs more funny videos with people messing up. Okay, so one last time I'm touching the radiator now, and will be now I'm pulling out it there of its little anti-static bag, like so. Oh, this thing is heavy, and then just plop it there. I don't know how this will go into the case right now, but before I will be doing anything that goes in the case, I will be installing the chip, the CPU first, and the RAM, and maybe even the cooler, and then we will see how to fit it in. I probably won't be installing the whole cooler there, just probably maybe it needs the base, because some coolers have a backplate on the other side of the motherboard, and once you've installed it into the case, you really don't want to take it out again. So yeah, I will be just inserting the chip and the RAM, and then have a closer look at the case, how it goes in there, and then see how things go from there and if I did anything wrong. Okay, so the chip goes there because you need to unscrew this first. So let's have a look at the chip first, and maybe there are some tools there that would help me opening this up. I mean, it's pretty idiot-proof in a way, because it really says here how to open it and how to close it, and there's also the instructions. So I think we should be good. So again, wow, this is the Ryzen Threadripper, and it says, oh, look at this. It says rip here. This is cute. So let's rip it. Let's rip it. Oh, this is so satisfying. Okay, this keeps it here in place, and you just pull it aside, and then this one opens here. And oh my God, I said this before, but this thing is huge. This is almost as big as a hard drive, right? The chip in this whole tray here. Oh my God. So there we got some AMD stuff there. Threadripper, I suppose this is, yeah, even got a nice little sticker to put on front because we're proud that we're running Threadripper. Installation instructions, and it says Ryzen processor are compatible with socket TR4 motherboards, which we have. By the way, I shouldn't be balancing this on the motherboard, but it's pretty light, so it's okay. Oh, and look at this. Yeah, this was what I'm expecting. There we have this Ryzen tool there with the Torx screw, so I think this one will open up the socket. And that's pretty much it. And this is the chip. Oh my God, this, like I said, it's huge. Usually the chips that I used before were the size of this sticker, maybe even smaller. So this one, I'm not touching this right now because first I want to get this one here open. Oh, by the way, maybe it would be a good thing to open up the installation instructions and just have them open and see if there's anything that we need to consider. You never know, you never know. So this is what we need to do, just unscrew it, open the tray, slide it in, and screw it back up. So this should be very, very straightforward. Let's get the light up here so that something shows up there on the cameras. Good. First thing here, this, you probably can't read it, or can you? It says here open 3 to 1, close 1 to 3. So this is the order in which you have to unscrew the screws. So open 3 to 1. Of course, yeah, never mind the beeping. Our dishwasher just finished. So you just, I'm just loosening them up a little bit because I don't know if you really need to take them out or not. But yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, I think they're not supposed to come out, which is of course good. So 3, 2, and 1. Yes, dishwasher, you did a great job. Really, really good, really good. So this is apparently spring-loaded because it goes up by itself. And now we have this little tray here, and we need to get underneath here. And this one has 2 little blue flaps there on the side, and I think you just press them a little, and it also goes up. And this thing here, let me turn it there that we can see it better on the camera. And this thing here is the cover, because underneath are the contacts, and you really don't want to expose this any longer than necessary. So right now I'm taking care of the chip first, and maybe one thing that's important, the chip goes in this little holder there, in this little frame there, and I just pull out this one here, this plastic slides right out, and this is where the chip goes. This is all spring-loaded, so as you can see, it just springs back. Okay, let's get to grips there with the chip. And oh my god, this is huge. So this whole thing here, this orange thing, is the tray for the chip. You really don't want to touch it any more than you do, because look at this. Those are all the contacts of the chip, and it's quite heavy, so I'm really trying not to touch it. And I don't think you can slide it in the wrong way, because it just needs, this hole needs to go up there, that it matches with the screw hole. Okay, so I'm just gently, very gently sliding it in there, and just need to make sure that it's in those rails. Yes, you want it to be in those little black rails there, that it's not derailed in any way. So this is good. So again, those are the contacts down here. And now we can take out this thing here and close this whole thing up. Okay, good. Here it comes, remove. And I'm just going to hold it down. And it snaps in, I think. I think this was it. No, not. Come on. Did I do something wrong? Oh god, it wasn't completely down. Oh my god. Okay, now you really don't need a lot of pressure. You just have to make sure that it's really, the chip is really completely sunk in this little tray. Okay, good. And now it says close 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is good. So just before I'm closing it up, I'm turning it again now here for the camera. And you can see that it's just the other way around. And I'm really closing, just screwing them very, very gently, that I don't overscrew them. Because you want it, of course, to keep the chip firmly in place, but also you don't want it to cause any kind of rips or breaks, thread rips on your motherboard. So I'm just fastening them, but not too tight, because usually you don't want ever to take it out anyway. It just needs to be held firmly in place, and I think this is the case. This beautiful thing there on the motherboard, oh, I think I can take a coffee break, and then we will come back and do the RAM chips. So I will be switching off the cameras now, and I hope they're still recording. Good, I'm back, and I've had some troubles with one of the cameras, but I think we're good. So next up, like I said, I will be installing the memory. This is the Corsair 40 gigs Dominator Platinum. I didn't invest in RGB RAM because fancy lighting inside my case, I don't really care much about it, or outside, because I'm not hauling this thing around. It will just sit under my desk for all eternity. Good thing, it already falls out onto the motherboard. Okay, so this is 46 gigs. So let's have a reference here again of the basic installation. Okay, the chip is in there, and it says how to connect the heatsink and cooler. Yeah, I won't be doing this right now. This is just how to install the DIMMs. So just put it in there and it should snap. But how to install them, or in what order, if you recall there, we got this helpful diagram. So since I'll be I'm having 4, we're putting in one in D1, C1, A1, and B1. It's those that are bright gray and not dark gray. So apparently it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's those 4, which is good. You also can't put them in the wrong way. Just don't try too hard to force it in. And also, because this one can get pretty hot, also has this little heatsink up here. So as you can see here, it has this little notch right there. So you can't really put them in, because the wrong way, I mean, because it's really, if you try to, the notch won't line up anymore. So just don't force it in. So how to install them? Yeah, those little flaps there. And at first you need really to get them back. And once you slide it in, it just connects like so. So let's do this here with the first one. Just make sure that it's right side facing us. Good. And then some gentle pressure, and it, with a satisfying snappity click, it goes in where it belongs. And now do this a couple of times more. And don't force stuff, really. You should be taking your time when you're assembling a computer, because any little mistake you make, or even 5 minutes time you save while assembling, you will probably be spending it again because something doesn't work and you need to take it apart again, and there goes your wasted time. So really take your time, and also make sure that anything that you don't need any longer, all the trash and waste, yeah, you just put them in a place where you can find it again, of course, in case you have some kind of warranty issue or something. You really want to have it all in one place, but that it doesn't clutter up all of your workspace. Good, okay, so 2 more DIMMs to go. Really, I can't tell you how satisfying this feels to have them slot in, because there's, like I said, kind of heavy but so metally and have this sci-fi look in a sense. So yeah, on the other side, usually, by the way, is if it goes towards the chip, usually if you're installing them on the other side, they don't go all facing like this, but the ones on this side face towards the chip like so. Oh, at least I think this is how it goes. But yes, this is the case. And the last one that goes in right here. And then I will unpack the cooler and read the instructions whether it needs to be installed before the motherboard goes into the machine or not. Because, like I said, you really want to avoid that you have to insert the motherboard and get it all screwed in there and connect it up, and then you have to take it out again because there's something on the back of it that you need to screw on. So again, let's try it here. Really, you don't have to make sure that you're not skewed in one direction. You really need to get it very straight on there. Good, good. They're all in place. I want also, because I don't know how high the cooler is. It has, I think, some kind of of space there. But yeah, if there's an issue with the heat sinks there on the DIMM chips, I will probably have to get a new cooler. So this is why I make sure to have this first. Good, let's make some room here. By the way, this was also something that came with the chip. This seems to be some kind of, also for the heatsink, some kind of helping device, or just some clamps that keeps it in place. So yeah, let's just make sure that we have it at hand should we need it. Good. This thing looks huge already. So let's take it out here. Let's make some room here. And let's just see how it should stack up there on the chip, or if there's room for it. Apparently it looks like it barely fits, but we will see. So let's take it out here. I don't think there's anything in there, but again, you never know if it maybe something jingles in there. But it doesn't feel too heavy, so I think this is just packaging material. Okay, so this is the heat sink, and the part that goes on the chip is this one here. I'm not taking it off right away because we still probably need to have some heat conducting compound on the chip as well as there, or at least on one surface of either. So before doing this, I will read the manual because I'm smart. So let's set this right here. And again, I think if you see this one, looks like that it needs to go on top of this, which is good that we have it here. So this is the NHU14STR4SP3. How the hell did you come up with such a cumbersome model description? Okay, as with Noctua always, it comes with its little tool there and some fold-up instructions, some brown things which are very elusive in their purpose to me, at least right now. Oh, and this is nice, some helpers and clamps, and also a nice shiny sticker to put on front of the computer. And this is nice. Let's get this up here. Yeah, this was actually what I wanted to avoid, so yeah. But I don't think anything hit the floor, so we're good. It comes with premium grade thermal compound. Oh, this is nice, because this was the one and only thing that I forgot to buy or to have ready when I got this here, heat conducting compound. And this is good that it comes there. So this will probably be for another fan, which we might salvage from the other computer, but first let's have a look at, oh my god, this manual. So this manual will guide you through. Please also make sure that PC case offers sufficient clearance for the cooler. When I bought this, it said that it has enough clearance, so I hope this one will fit. But I think if this one goes on there, I think it will fit. I don't know even quite in what direction I should fit the cooler onto. So again, I will soon have to open up the case and just see where the motherboard goes, in what direction it goes, so that I can make sure where or how the airflow goes. In terms of the airflow, this might be interesting to some. If you don't know in what direction the fan comes, usually there on the one side there are little arrows printed on top. So this means it goes through here. So if, for example, if I want the air to come from the chip and blow outside into this direction, I will mount it like so. I think this is how you mount it, or so. I don't know, but I think you can also mount an additional fan here. And I think this is what those parts are here for. Okay, either way, so let's first test to see if we need the clearance for the PCI-E slot. So I think it goes on like this. And let's test fit the graphics card here. So yes, the graphics card fits there, of course. Let's test now the cooler here. I'm assuming because the motherboard has on this side here all the ports. So I think this will be the outside. So I think we need to mount it like so, that the air goes through from this side and to the outside. So I don't think I will be needing the extra clearance, but thank you very much, Noctua. So let's gently take out the graphics card. Good. And continue with the manual. If there are any residual traces of thermal paste or thermal pads on your CPU, please clean them off first. Then press 9 small drops, 3 to 4 millimeter diameter of the NH onto the heat spreader in a square 3x3 pattern as shown below. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is really helpful, because when I was first building my PC, my old one, I didn't know quite how to use the whole thermal paste. And some people said, yeah, just use a big drop in the middle. Others said, yeah, just use little dots. And others said, make it like a jelly butter sandwich and just butter the whole thing. And this is what I did. I really buttered the whole thing very thin with a credit card, you know, that it really fits very snug and fine there. And yeah, apparently in the end, this is how you do it. So 9 drips there. Continue by adding 4 larger drops of in the square pattern in the center. So okay, this is a 2-stage process, right? So like this. Caution, applying too much thermal paste will lower heat conductivity and cooling performance. Okay, good. Fastening the heatsink onto the CPU. Okay, please first take the fan off as well as the protection cover at the bottom side of the heatsink. Okay, so we need to take the fan off and of course this protection cover, because we're not idiots. Then put the heatsink onto the CPU so that the 4 spring-loaded screws align with the threads of the CPU socket. There we go. Perform 3 turns on each screw. Wow, this is pretty elaborate. And then repeat until all are fully tightened. Caution, gently tighten the screws until they stop, but don't use excessive force. Max torque 0.6 Newton meters. I don't know. Okay, note that you can tilt the mounting tool for reaching the screws in case they are blocked from the heatsink fins attaching the fan. Okay, so first we need to make sure that this thing here on the chip fits, or whether we need something on the back of the motherboard, because I don't know. So I'm assuming you just screw this on here, and I don't think there's a wrong way to do it. Well, probably there is. I think this one goes on here like so, because it would fit the holes perfectly, which is always helpful. So let's fasten those just a little bit. And again, here it has little numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4 embossed into the metal, so that you really, it's always in a zigzag pattern. Crisscross, I think, is how the Americans say it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The more hands you have, the better. Yeah, it's just, I think this is just that the force is applied equally on each side. Okay. This is why we have this friendly thing here. Just make sure that we're not getting any kind of bubbles in there. They said we need to take off the fan, so this is what we'll be doing. Let's make some room here. Taking the fan off the cooler is pretty easy. Just pull it up, I wanted to say, but okay, so this is the heat spreader with the fins, and we still got some plastic there. And also note that the orientation of those screws is the same as they're on the motherboard. So I think this is how we're going to do this. Okay, so I'm still keeping this one on here. And first, let's get the thermal paste on there, just like the manual specifies. 9 drops there and 2 bigger drops there. 3 to 4 diameter. Oh my god, this is going to be horrendous. Unscrewing this one here, and then just gently pushing it. There we go. And yeah, doesn't look too nice already. But I think the point of this whole thing is that you just have it spread equally, or as equal as possible, that you don't have any excess paste on any part of the chip. Really, I'm not doing this too well, I think. Does this look like in the manual? And some bigger there. 1. Oh god, no, it's a straight turd. Oh god. And number 4. Okay, still got some paste left. So where is my paper towel? This is good that we have it, because you don't want to have this thing anywhere else. Oh man, I really hope that this is how it should look like, but I don't think so. No, you know what? This is not good, because there on the outer side there is not enough. So let's apply some here and there. Oh god. I don't think this is correct. You're free to ridicule me in the comments, but the point is, yeah, that there's just the thermal paste as equal as possible spread all over the surface of the chip. But yeah, so apparently it doesn't matter where this thing is, because the airflow will be controlled by how you put on the fan, which is good. So it just says here, fastening the heatsink. Yes, please take off the fan first. Put on the heatsink on the CPU. Again, we have to make sure that on this side there are smaller ones, and they're apart further. As always, try to get as clean as possible. Again, apologies for this horrible heat paste thing. But, apparently, I don't need this thing here. I don't need the thing that came with the chip. So let's unscrew this in the reverse order, ideally, of how it told us that it needs to go on to. But it isn't too bad. Okay, good. Oh god, so let's do this before the heat paste dries up. Okay, you really want to be careful to line up there the screws. And okay, now it just sits on there, and I can feel it, how it's sliding on the heat conducting paste. Okay, so this hole here doesn't match up quite nicely. This one here is still not correct. I'm just fastening just a little bit, so that each screw is in the correct hole. And I think this is it now. Okay, so come on. This is intense, so I hope I did things right. So gently tighten the screws until they stop, but don't use excessive force. Let's do this then. Okay. Man, this tool is really helpful. Just a few rotations, then I'm going to the next screw, so that, like I said, that the force that's being applied onto the chip is equal, or at least close to equal, on all sides. So now I'm coming back to the first screw and keep screwing it in. You want the cooler really to be very firmly in place. Okay, there it's stopped now. But also you don't want to hear your motherboard creaking and cracking, because I think this is probably one of the problems that I had with the old computer, because I really wanted to make sure that it just sticks on there. But in the end, you just don't want it to fall off. So yeah, as soon as this thing you really feel it with this one here, once the screws stop turning. Yeah, this is good. So we got the CPU there, we got the heat spreader on, and well, for most of the part, and we also got the RAM installed. Okay, I don't know whether to put the fan in this position there, that it's on front, so like so, that it goes out, but probably I want to have it here on the inside, and then all the air that builds up just goes here, so that it can flow outside. So I'm just pulling them back on both sides at the same time until they are there. Okay, so the problem is that this cable is sticking out there. This goes to the fan control, and I think I've mounted it the wrong way, upside down. So yeah, let's do this. And always make sure, of course, that the airflow stays correct. So I want the air to flow from this side through here. Okay. And also have to ensure that I'm not squeezing the cable in any way. Good, not so good. And of course, the fan should cover the heatsink as fully as possible. Okay, so now this cable here looks much better. It goes, it's not ideal, but I don't think I'll be extending the RAM anyway. So the issue here is that this one here is going on top of the RAM slot there, but I don't think I'll be needing this anyway, so it's quite okay if it goes out there. And you know what? I think those pins here on the motherboard are fan control anyway. What is this? This one here is RGB header, which I don't think I would be caring much for. CPU opt, okay. CPU fan. It only goes in one way. If you watch closely, you can see here it has this little 2 pins on top. And there it needs to slide on this either side of this plastic extrusion there. So sorry for the bad image quality, but yes, like this, and yeah, this is good. This is how it should look like. Okay, good. So now I'll be switching batteries on some of the cameras here, and then we'll be looking at the case in detail and how to stick this sucker in. What was also in the packaging was this LNA, what's called a low noise adapter. And this one is supposed to go in between the cable that comes from the fan to the motherboard. But they say you want really to avoid this, otherwise your CPU might get throttled and operate at a lower frequency, which means that you don't get out all the performance that you want. But on the other hand, you have a more quieter system. So this is just one thing to keep in mind. I won't be installing this right now because I'm hopeful that the case will be insulating the noise a little bit. But either way, this is something to consider, and or maybe should I put it in? I don't know. You know what? Let's keep this there. Let's put it there on the later pile and make some room here for the case and see how the case opens up and how everything works there. So let's have a look at the case, and how the hell do I get this open? Oh, look at this. It got some helpful thumb screws here, which is just, you don't need to use a screwdriver. You can just screw them open with your thumb and your index finger, and you're good to go. I really like this. They're a little bit fiddly, but still feels that it's connected some way. Oh, of course, you slide it out, of course. So you slide it out and the side comes off. Let's put it here, and if we hear a loud banging noise, this is the cover that just falls over. Okay, so that I can show you from the other side here. It also already comes with some nicely managed cables there. This looks to be the RGB control there, where you can also connect up different or more controllers or more LED strips. So this is not that firmly in place, but yeah, it should go. It's okay. And already got some heat conductive paste there on my fingers. I'm not too happy with how the cables are looking there. It's just a little bit of wire there, and so it's not proper cable ties, but I think the intention there is that you probably want to change it anyway, and this is how this looks like here. And let's have a look also on the other side. Again, it comes off there with thumb screws. The big window into the innards of your PC. It's almost a shame. Oh, okay, those come off. Those come off entirely. It's almost a shame because this window will be facing straight into the wall. Okay, good. Oh man, this is heavy. This. Oh my God, this seems to be real tempered glass. This is not cheap plastic. It even got this protective plastic on there, which is very satisfying to pull off. And because I know this, I never do it because I always want to save it for later. But yeah, really, I should make sure that this doesn't fall over or break, because then I will need a new case. Okay, good. And what is this? Important, please secure door before transportation. I think this was not secured when I got it, but apparently it's still working. It's working, so I'm not complaining. Good. So this is the first look at this, and we got here also 2 bays there for drives. Oh my God, you know what? I forgot to take out the CD drive. It's not just a CD drive on my old machine, it's also a Blu-ray and get a grip HD DVD player. So it's all in one, and I still need to take it out from the old machine, but for now let's continue. So there you got the air filter. I don't know how to take it out, so I don't not touch it. And you can see here 2 big radiators. So this is quite good. So I'm very hopeful that this is cooled sufficiently. So what do we have here on this side? What's in there? There are just some cables coming out. Okay, there it says LED strips. This is good, but this one here, I think maybe it was supposed to be attached to this, but it's just some wires that came off. Oh my God, I hope there's nothing is broken there. Okay, so let's have a look. Accessories, and what this is, and the LED strips are also there, held in place by a bunch of wires. Let's get those out. And also take care of the screws. This is 1, 2, 3. I'm already missing the screw. Well, this was fast. This was real fast. There it is. There it is. Oi. Good. So the accessories, what do we have in here? Well, it's a bunch of accessories. Oh my God. So we got some frames here. I'm assuming for drives and such, hard drives or the bay drives here. No, they don't fit there. This is a bummer. So I don't know what to do with this already. Packing material and other bay. So I think this is for the drives that go up on top. But like I said, I could be mistaken. Okay, good. Let's put the garbage back in there. What is this? It is a bunch of screws and cable straps. and yeah, stuff like this. So this is handy. So we should keep this. Some more packaging material. Some more frames. I think this is for SSDs. Let's just see if it fits. Yes, this fits perfectly in there. So this kind of frame, yeah, is for SSDs. Then what do we have here? Some kind of metal grate. I think maybe this is for the PSU. Man, I wanted a modular case, but this is probably too modular for me because I don't know where all these things go. in other bay, so I think this is for the drives. Let's see if they fit. Yes, quite snugly even. So I'm assuming that this is for hard drives. And if not, well, they fit perfectly. So it's 1, 2, 3 of those. I don't think that I will be having more drives, but it's 1, 2, 3. So almost ran out. Good. What is this? I have no idea. It just says be quiet. But since this is the manufacturer, who knows? This is plastic. Maybe it slides on there somewhere. Maybe this is some kind of cover. I don't know. This is where it goes for SSDs. Yeah, for most of the things that are in here, I have no idea. I have no idea what they're supposed to do, but I'm sure we will find out. So I put anything, the packaging material, and anything that I found there, I just throw it back into this box. Maybe the manual will enlighten us and just have a look at the LED strips. I've never had LED strips, so apparently there are LED strips. And look at this, they come here with adhesive already applied. So apparently it's just you put them on there and connect this up with a LED control on the other side, on the back side of the case. But I don't think that I'll be needing those because it would be wasted effort anyway. Like I said, because I'm not that much of a case modder. Good. This was not that enlightening as I'd have hoped, because I still don't know where all those things go. So I'm assuming if I can take, let's turn this around here. So I'm not sure if I can take these out, but apparently this is where all the drives go. And as for the PSU, I think it's to be installed on the other side there. But still, I don't know how to get to it. So it's time for the Darkbase Pro 900 Mark II manual. Now let's get this here out of the way. Just to show you, I think the PSU should go there because it has all the fans there on the back side. The motherboard goes here, and this is where all the connections go. And this is for cable management, where you can stick the cables through that lead to your drives. They pop right through. Is it this? Yes, very careful. Okay, so this one is just a cover for those slots right here. Let's have a look at how many drives we're having. 1, 2, 3 big old hard drives and 1, 2 SSDs. And then of course we have this one M2 SSD, but this one will go right into the slot there somewhere on the motherboard. So in other words, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to uncover 5 of those slots. So I think let's do this now. Good. Okay, so we've made some space there. Still don't know how to pop in the PSU. Does this one come off here? Or... yeah, I think probably I have to unscrew this one here, or no, this is the screw that's for the frame. Good. Let's stop worrying and consult the manual. Exploded view and description of parts. Okay, this is semi-helpful. So at least I recognize some of the weird parts that were in there before, but not all of them. What the hell is this? PSU mounting E. Where the hell is E? A, B, E. PSU mounting. Good. Okay. How do I get there? I still don't know how to get this metal piece here off. that I can access the PSU mount. Because I want to get in the PSU first. Like I said, power supply, power is the most important, and also with the cables. And then get the motherboard in there, because then I know where to route the cables, and then pretty much everything else. As the motherboard is in there, I will connect up, yeah, anything that's left there. Okay, not very helpful, not very helpful. Okay, so I'm assuming there's some way that I need to pry this open. Let's do some investigation. So maybe this one slides out here. No, can I pry this open? Man, really, this is some detective work you have to do, because yeah, the manual is not that helpful, frankly. So maybe it helps if I just lie it down on the table and see if I can make sense of this. Okay, so this is the control for all this snazzy LED lighting. This, I have no idea, maybe for some other extension cards perhaps. And I'm assuming that here, okay, those are little rubbery things. Probably that the side of the case is not bumping against it. So I think the PSU, because those are all the plugs, those are strange things. Frankly, I haven't seen some of those plugs never before, really. So, but this looks familiar. This looks to be like some power plug. This is I'm having flashbacks to IKEA again. M and N. What is M? Mounting for PSU shroud. Mounting for PSU shroud. Top cover of PSU shroud. Shroud of the avatar. My ass. How? Why? What? I don't know how to get to this, frankly. Probably I'm doing this from the wrong side. It looks to be like it's screwed on there. But I'm a little bit hesitant as to whether I should unscrew it. You know what? Let's have a look at the PSU itself and see how big it is, and maybe if I can slide it somewhere in. But frankly, I'm a little bit at a loss right now at where to put those things. But oh my god, this is heavy. So we're stuck with the motherboard, or at least with the case. And this is why it's time to unwrap the big PSU. And look at this, my hands are still uncut for now. I was hoping to make some more progress by this time. It's 11, almost 11:15 in the evening, and I started around 9. So this is taking a little bit longer than anticipated, to be frank. But we're getting there, Okay, so let's open up this one here. This is a shiny box. Oh, and this is another heavy beast. Okay, it goes on the pile. Good, so let's see if you can see it. I just have to be sure that I'm not bumping off my computer, that it's not even in use of the side of the table. So where does it open? How? Maybe on this side here? Yes, this looks good. So, yes. Okay, so we want me to open it from this way. Okay, so we got cable. This is good. This is helpful. Prime. Oh, we got some cable ties, some screws, and some more cable organization stuff. So this is good and helpful. Prime, 12 years of warranty. The user's manual in beautiful Euro style extended. I like this font, it's everywhere. Carton contents, warning, important safety. Never under any circumstances open the power supply unit. Never. You know what? Now I wonder what's inside. Installation. Place the power into the space provided within the case. Yeah, it would be nice and helpful to know what the provided place is. Power supply installation guide. This one has pictures and I'm a big fan of this. Remove the old PSU. Yes, we don't have it. Test your PSU before installation. Plug, oh okay, this I've never done this. Plug the AC power cord into the PSU. Make sure the AC power is coming directly from the wall outlet. It is recommended to use a high quality surge protector. Yeah, I should get one of those. Connect both the 18-pin and 10-pin connectors of the motherboard cable to the power supply. Okay, so already goes into how to connect this thing up. So this one Ah, crap. And this hefty bag there, this must be all the cables. All the cables. All the different kinds of cables. Cables. Everyone gets cables. Okay, let's put them here. And this thing here in black velvet must be the PSU. Oh, and I'm getting a lot of notifications on my phone. Apparently, someone is sending me a lot of stuff. So this is a beauty. This is heavy, but it's also nice. On this side here, it got an on-off switch. This is what? It's hybrid mode. Whatever this means, it's great. It has hybrid mode. But the most important thing is on this side here. It's a modular thing. So you only need to connect up what you really need. So this is very helpful. Otherwise, you just have this it looks like electronic Cthulhu, where it's just vomiting out cables, and half of them you probably won't using if you don't running a really packed system, and it's only blocking up airflow and just gets dirty. So this is why I'm really happy and always investing in some PSUs that are modular. So this is good. This is helpful. Let's put it on the pile. Let's put it on all on the pile. Also, this one is anything else in this bag here? No. Okay, so now we know how big the PSU is and where it should go, and that probably we should be testing it. You know what? I trust you, Seasonic. I trust you. Hybrid mode. I don't know what hybrid mode is. Maybe the warranty. Maybe the user manual. Contenuto della confezione. Installation du bloc d'alimentation. Haftungsausschluss. Okay, German. Achtung. The operation of the power supply is pull technology, which means that the unit provides only the power demanded by the mainboard. This is what we want. It's still not really explaining what the hybrid mode does. Never do this, only use do not. It's all in caps. It's all in caps. Please read first chapter 2, warning, important safety information. Off switch, yeah, just make sure that you're not being an idiot. Okay, if the power supply fails to function properly. You know what? This is not helpful. Okay, the PSU must go somewhere in that neighborhood. No, it won't fit in from this side. But this is how it should be going in. I just don't know how to get how to stick it in there. But you know what? Screw this. Let's unscrew this. This is really tight, so this should be another sign that you probably shouldn't be unscrewing stuff. You know what? I can't even get properly to the screws, so really, I don't think I should be doing this. Now I'm at a point where I'm just randomly unscrewing stuff and hoping that it would somehow help me with my problems. So this one, more light please. So this one just popped off like so. Can I pry this open here? Oh, yes, I can. Huh. Okay, so you're supposed to pry this open there. This works. This works. Okay. Man, I'm always very cautious when I need to be doing stuff like this, but now it goes off pretty easily. The PSU, the other side of the output is there, and there's the cable, but still I don't know how to fit it in there. You know what? Let's try. Let's try from the other side again. Oh man, this is really a project. This won't fit through here. Okay, good. So this is a no. Okay, I'm now unscrewing random stuff again. But maybe this... Oh, damn it. I don't think I'm supposed to unscrew this. No, it looks like this is what you're supposed to be doing. Oh man. Ha! There's a screw. You know what? I'll check it out on YouTube. Okay, YouTube. Okay, what's the case called? Where do I have the installation guide? Oh, there we are. Okay, good, good. So it's the Dark Base Pro 900. How to invert? No, I don't want to invert it. Not inverting, just setting it up. Okay.
Look at it, it's so beautiful. Watch until the end to see a full build in this case. Well, thing on the top. And it's got the Be Quiet deafening material. It looks like a case.
This guy's talking about the covers, but I'm just interested in how to get the PSU in there.
Take a look at the hard drive bays over here.
No!
The hard drive bays. Now each one.
Okay, so I've watched a build of this on YouTube, and turns out I'm a complete dumbass because apparently I bought the most modular case that's out there, and everyone who's into case modding is loving this piece because you can completely take it apart, which I won't be doing. I only just want to get to the part where it can insert the power supply. So this whole moddability is really to my detriment because I'm feeling bad about taking this apart, but this is what you're supposed to be doing. You can even take out the whole tray where you put the motherboard, which I also won't be doing because I will be assembling the motherboard in there because with all this here, oh my god, with all this here, I don't dare. I don't dare to do it. What I will do, however, is unscrew this last part here and try to get the PSU fit in there somehow. Okay, good. I've already completely lost track of where which screw goes. On the other hand, there's a whole bag of screws in there that we won't get screwed. Oh my god, there's another screw! How the hell am I supposed to get to this screw? This is utterly the wrong case for me, really. I can see other people having a field day with this one, but I'm just hating it. There we go. Okay. Okay, I wasn't supposed to be screwing out this one here, but you know what? Let's put the screw back in there before I completely lose it. Okay, I don't think that I will be installing this ever again, so let's put it on the pile of shame. Okay, good or bad, I don't know, but there's a lot of room there now. There's a lot of room. Okay, it should go in like this. Yes, it fits. And you get this PSU extension cable there. It should plug in right into the front of the PSU. So you're actually just switching it off, on and off here. And again, I'm not really sure what hybrid mode means, but once I've installed this, I can't switch it back off or on. Hybrid silent fan control, which offers 3 distinct operation modes. Okay, so it's just whether the fan should be going all the time or only if the thing gets hot. You know what? I will switch it now on, which it is already by default. So this whole musing about it was pretty much useless. Okay, so let's do the most satisfying part, that is peel off those labels. Ah, so satisfying. You know what? I will install it now that the fan blows down, and later learn when I'm reading your lovely comments that it was the wrong way to do, which is fine because when I'm done here, I think I will have a hang of how to assemble this again, which I hope I don't have to. Good. Now how the hell do I mount it? Okay. So I have to rotate now a little bit so that I can get to the access on the back. Man, this case is my Mount Everest. Oh god. Come on. Yes. Yes. So this comes right off here. Is there a screw on the other side? Of course there is. Oh, okay. Do I need to unscrew this? I should have, you know what, this is the wrong screw. I mean, it's not the wrong screw, but it's the wrong part of the lid. Man, this was not my best purchase. I mean, it's a great case, don't get me wrong, but it's not for me. It's just not for me. But I didn't find any other cases that would fit this huge motherboard and the cooler. So I thought, yeah, sure, why not pick the case that all the gaming sites are recommending, right? Yeah, they're gaming sites, and chances are that if you're a hardcore gamer, you're probably also a hardcore case modder. Yeah, I'm not. Okay, so I'm taking the dive here to get to the other side of the screw of this lid here. Oh god. If a screw is too tight, you shouldn't be unscrewing it. But right now, I think this is the only way how to get the PSU in there and properly, yeah, properly aligned there. What the hell was this? I don't think I can get to the screws to mount the PSU in there. Christ. I'm this close to calling it a day. Really. I'm not having fun. This is supposed to be fun. You know what? I will be watching some more YouTube stuff and we will come back when I have figured things out, hopefully. Christ. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen and unicorns. It is day 2 now and I'm all freshed up and ready to tackle this one here. I don't know how I will edit this, but probably I will cut it down quite severely because I was having a lot of problems with this case. So I did some research and did some digging and watched a lot of videos yesterday on my phone. And turns out, yes, I wasn't being stupid. Well, I was a little bit, but turns out that this thing here, the PSU shroud as it is called, is really tricky to get out. And since this whole thing is so modular, yeah, you can do pretty much anything you want with it. The problem is I don't want to do anything that I want with it. All I want to do is just pop in some hard drives with easy access to them, but I don't think that this is quite possible with this one because we all have these little hard drive cages. So the matter of fact is that this PSU shroud will probably not go in there again because I'm not putting myself through with this. But at least where we left off yesterday was that I was having troubles getting the PSU in, and thanks to my great wife, now it is in there. She found a way how to remove this PSU shroud and to get it in there. What we still need to do is, of course, there are still some holes for screws because yesterday I lost a screw in there. It just jingled in the bottom of it. So I thought, yeah, let's just turn around the case, and yeah, also this thing came loose because it's just moved in place. It's not bolted down or anything. So this is why we need to insert the screws. So this is what we're going to do next. We will insert the screws here, and then we will try and fit the motherboard in there because as I was considering how to continue with the build, I'm a little bit worried that this big cooler here, this big heatsink, doesn't fit in there and that I won't be able to close this up again. If this is the case, well, shit. I can't do anything about it, so probably we'll have the cover open all the times, and this will get incredibly dusty and dirty and loud. Yeah, so let's hope that this is not the case. Crap. Okay, once this is done, I will hook up the motherboard first by getting all the cables into the PSU, and then I will just insert component by component and wire things up. What I also did yesterday was I almost forgot to remove this great optical drive there from my old computer. This one is a CD-ROM, HD, DVD and Blu-ray player. Yes, HD DVD, because back then I thought when there was still this war going on between, yeah, which standard will win, HD DVD or Blu-ray DVD. I bet on the wrong horse, but at least this one here I can still watch the Kubrick collection on HD DVD. So this is a treasured artifact, so this one also will go into the new computer. Alrighty then, my hands are dry. Let's touch the radiator. Cool. This took care of all static electricity for the time being. And let's turn around the cover and finish up on the PSU. Does it fit? Yes, it does. Good. Oh, damn it. Toppled over some of the drives. But this is okay. They're solid state drives, which means they're pretty solid in terms of knocking them over. Okay, let's do the other side. No, I don't think this is possible because I can't reach the screw holes. So screw this. And before moving on, let's have a look at the backside at this panel over here. What the hell this means. So on the back side of the case we have this little panel here, and this is the fan control and RGB control. Let's go over them real quickly. So this is the fan control. It's the PWM input, which just means this goes into the motherboard, where the BIOS pretty much takes care of the fan speed. So this goes in here, and those are all the outputs to the fans. As you can see, there's still some headroom that I can put 5 more fans in there. And for those 2 rows, I got those switches here where I can switch them between performance and silent mode. And since this case is called "Be Quiet!" exclamation point, I will be setting them to quiet. Then we have here, what is this? PC RGB in. So this one also goes into the motherboard for some cool RGB effects powered by the BIOS or the motherboard. Then we got here the LED strip 1 and 2 inputs. Those things right here. We got some more BRG, so I think those are external LED strips or any more lighting that you want to do. What is this? This is power R2, so this is probably for the charging station up on top. Then this must be the power input. And what do we have here? Oh, of course, those must be for the fan control speeds, because in front of the thing on this side there, I also have some ways to set the speed of the fans. And this huge mess of cables here just routes through on this side and comes out on the other, and somehow we will have to take care of these, because I think some of those plug into the motherboard and others just need a direct connection to the power supply, because there's a lot of electricity going on in there. So a PSU unit is fixed. So let's turn this around and put it down on the table that we can insert the motherboard, which is right after inserting the chip, probably the biggest point of excitement for me, because yeah, you really want to mess up anything. Before doing anything, this is the back cover here for the motherboard, and most of the times when I'm building PCs I forget to put this in, because once you forget this, you can you screwed the motherboard down, you really have to undo this and do it all over again. So this one goes here into the back, so just that the connections into the motherboard aren't exposed directly. So this one here is padded. You can feel it, it's a little bit softer, so that you can really push it hard against the motherboard and nothing will happen. So I just loosely put it on the motherboard, and I don't know if you're supposed to be doing it like I'm doing, but I will just take here the heat spreader, and because it's bolted down onto the motherboard, this is how I will take it. So there are 9 screws there on standard ATX motherboard, and really want to set it quite nicely on all of them at the same time. Damn it, this port cover already comes loose. Which was it? This way. Okay, so you need 8 hands to do this exactly. Oh, plane. This is great, but I won't be talking as much, just cursing. Just cursing. Oh man, I hate this. I really hate this. This is why I never want to take out the main board once I got it in there, because it's such a hassle to get it in there. Okay, I just want to show you, usually there's one screw in the middle. So usually there is one screw here in the middle, in case it is this one, and once you got this one in here, everything else should fit, because it just can rotate the board around it until you have all the 9 screws. Those are with those little I think, grounding pins connected to each of them. So this is what you want. And you also want, of course, that this back cover here is snug in frame and oriented like so. So I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. So let's just fasten the screws and do a test fit of the cover, but I think it barely works that I can have the cooler still in there. So let's knock on wood and fasten those screws. Where's my screwdriver? No, I think those screws are they too small? No, barely fit, but they fit. And if they stay in place, I'm happy with that. So again, like with the chip, you want to do them crisscross. So you start perhaps on the lower left, and then you do the upper right, then you do the lower left, the lower right, and the lower left, and so on. So just that the pressure is evenly distributed. Oh God. And already lost the screw, but this one is on the table. Let's keep it up. And this is why I want to avoid working inside the case, because it's really cramped there and there's just a lot of sharp metal edges exposed and you easily cut yourself up. Good, so the screws are quite loose fitting, at least they feel like they are quite loose fitting, but they hold the whole thing in place, they hold it down. And really I don't want to screw them in too tightly, because in case you have to take it off or anything, and you really just, the worst thing that can happen is that your screws are in there so tightly that once you try to unscrew them, you just erode the little the depression on top there, and then you can never will get them out again. So this is what I want to try to avoid. What's also important is when you fit the motherboard is since there are already some cables running through the case, you don't want to squeeze any cables there. So you really have to make sure that if the motherboard doesn't fit quite well, just don't force it in. It's probably you're squeezing a cable on one of the edges. But thankfully this is not the case here. And I think it's looking good. This is looking good. So we still got some space here, but not too much breathing room, so everything is fine. Like I said yesterday, I don't know if I will have cut it out or not. This case is the perfect case for case modders. They will really have a field day with it because you can do so many things there. But for me, it's just overwhelming. So I'm lucky if I get everything done that I want, and I'm not even talking about like cable management, very sophisticated cable management or any kind of stuff. I just want to cram anything in there and have it run. This is priority number one, and anything that comes on top of it, it's a nice to have. Talking about stuff that's nice to have, I'm still not sure whether I should insert those LED strips or not. From the videos that I've watched, people are not too happy of this adhesive there. People usually preferred magnets, but I'm a little bit allergic to magnets because you never know if it brushes against the hard drive and erases everything. But yeah, maybe we will put just one strip in there so that I can just say, yeah, I'm a case modder, deal with it, haters. Okay, so what did I want to do next? Right, power. We need power, and then we start putting in the components and wiring everything up. Okay, I'm still not quite sure if I should start running all the power cables first and then doing all the little components there, or whether I should first plug in all the case cables that came with it and then worry about how everything should be powered. You see, the thing is with the motherboard, all the connections are on its edges, apart from the top. We start here, this is the top, and now here we have the connections for the fans. This one here is the power input. Then we get here for the M2. I think this is for the M2. This is for the new hard drive, which will, if you don't know it, this will look like a stick or something like, yeah, it's just a PCB board with some flash memory solder on. So this goes here. Then we have some more fan controls and some more slots. So those are all the SATA connections, or SATA or SATA, or however you want to call it. And then here we got the system pins and some more fan speeds and the water pump, which I won't be using, and all the USB stuff and some more fans. And here we can power it on and even read here the booting code. If anything should go wrong, it displays a little code and you look it up in the manual and it will tell you what went wrong. Okay, and of course we have here the BIOS battery, so if anything, if you really want to flash your BIOS, you just take it out. And I'm assuming underneath this heatsink here, there's another M2 slot or something. I'm assuming it because if you watch real closely, you see those screws here, those I was able to unfasten, but this one here, this is impossible. I really tried here with my screwdriver there and the different bits, but none would quite fit. And you can see here that the depression on top is already gone. So it's, yeah, you really can't get it out. And I was a little bit afraid of applying too much pressure because then it's stuck forever. And yeah, you really don't want to have something on your motherboard which you will never ever be able to access anymore. So in case I should put anything in there, I think the heat sink will have to go. Okay, if this were a live stream, I would ask you whether I should hook up first the case stuff, the cables, or the power supply. You know what? I'm just going with my gut here and I'm saying, let's do the power supply first. Let's get some lights here. As for the power supply, I mentioned that it was modular, and you can see here all the different, put the light down, all the different outputs. So MB stands for motherboard. Can you read it, or is there too much reflection going on? So MB here stands for motherboard. So those are the motherboard connections. CPU, PCI-E. Yesterday I said PCE all the time when I was referring to the PCI-E slots. So apologies, I come from a time when we still had ESA slots and SCSI cards. So those are all for the expansion slots and graphics cards and stuff. So we won't be using a lot of them, I think just 2 or 3, however many we will need. So a CPU, of course, we also have to power this big thing here. So this one also goes in here. And peripheral, IDE, SATA, Molex. So this is, I think we will need 1 from those there that just runs up to the HD DVD drive, which is cool. So let's unwrap all the goodness that came with the PSU. So those are SATA cables. This is a bunch of cables, really. Good thing we have our tools. Yeah, just drop them all over the table. Why not? Why not? Good thing is, I'm very happy that all of those are labeled. You can see here it reads PCI-E, and I'm very fond of that. And the other one should, okay, this is also PCI-E, but this one here should probably read motherboard or something. No, no, it doesn't, probably because they assume you know what you're doing. And I'm not quite sure that I fully do, but I think I do. I know enough. So, oh yeah, right, there was this other bag of cables that also came with it. So let's open up these as well. But those looks to be like the good old IDE cables. Yes, those are the old IDE cables, so we won't be using a lot of those, just 1 or 2. These go into your old drives. Let me just quickly show you here. HD DVD drive, and here, oh no, look at this, it even got already a SATA power plug, so we don't be needing these. And these are all the SATA power plugs, so they just stick in right there. So this is good, we won't be needing the stuff that I just unwrapped there. Good, so SATA, no. First we need to get power to the CPU and the motherboard. Okay, as for cable management, Sometimes you want to route all the cables there on the back of the case, but this is not what I'm going to do because this case is very cramped on the backside. From the videos that I've seen, modders were not too happy with how little room they had to work there. And since I'm not too much concerned with airflow, we see in the future how this turns out. If I'm complaining about frequent blue screens, this will probably be the issue. But since I'm not concerned at the moment with this one, I will just route the cable straight on. Is it long enough? Yes, it looks like it is long enough. So, the correct way of doing it would not be to start here from the top, but from the bottom, because once I have my cables running here, it's going to be increasingly harder to get to those bottom connectors. So let's not start here. Good thing that I was using my brains for a second. So yeah, let's first take care of all the cables that I won't be needing. They go back into the bag because they've been naughty cables. Some more SATA plugs. Good. So my idea is to put in 5 drives essentially. Well, actually it's 6 drives, but since one is an M2 SATA and this one will go into this slot here on the motherboard, I won't be needing power for it, but for the other drives. So in terms of the layout, there's a cage where 2 drives go in there, here on the bottom. So I will stick, I think, 2 of the good old 3.5-inch drives in here in the cage, so they go 1 and 2. And then I have another drive which will go probably up here or here, just that I have some headroom there, that if drives get hot, at least while they develop some kind of heat radiation, so you don't want to have them too close together if you can avoid it. And since I got a lot of room here, I can avoid it. So 2 hard drives there, another one probably there, and the smaller ones, the SSDs, they will mount into also one of those cages there. You just put one on top and then flip it over and put one on the bottom, and in they go. So essentially we will be needing almost all of those cages. By the way, also this case has the option to mount one SATA drive there onto the PSU shroud, which I'm not using. And on the back side, next to the panel with the fan controls, there's also a spot to mount a SATA drive. So there's a lot of room in there, and I'm glad that I did some reading and watching videos just to know what is possible with this drive. Good, so back to where we were. Good, so we have here now one output from the PSU, and it will power up to 1, 2, 3, 4 drives. So this is good. So we will just need one of those. Where does it go? Just have to make sure that I'm not putting it in the wrong way, but it's almost impossible because it has a little bridge up on top, little plasticky thing, so you can't put it in the wrong way. So this one I will route straight here, that it goes straight to the back, where I'll be needing it for all those drives. Good. But what is this here? This on the lower side, and this is for the PCI-E slots. I will be connecting up those first again, just that I don't have to untangle all this mess before I get to the plugs in the PSU. I will really make a test fit there with the graphics card, just to see what kind of plugs I actually need. So the graphics card goes in like this and sticks there, and you can see it has here these connectors. So it's 6 and 8. So let's have a look at the cables. So I got here, this one sticks into the PSU. It's clearly labeled, this is great. And this one, there we have 8. And so we need another for 6. And then we should be fine. So I will just leave it out there hanging. And yes, this is the other one. This one goes into the PSU. And we're good. And since we are already talking about expansion slots, let's first have a look at here my sound card, just to be sure whether it also wants some external power, and I'm not quite sure if it does, but I don't think so. I don't see any connectors there, just the cable, because they're hooked up with each other, which is quite cute. They hooked up a long time ago. I hooked them up, it was me. So okay, so we don't be needing any cables more for anything else. Perhaps maybe in the future, maybe I will stick in another graphics card or a different one. But I think with these kinds of connectors, I think we're good. Look at this. Oh my God, I didn't have to insert this one here, because this cable here already comes with 2 plugs here for the graphics card. So I can unplug this one here because this is just one. Saves us some cables and helps us keep the build tidy, which is very good. So I will also unplug it on this side and stick it here. Good. So this one will be for our graphics card. We already got some 4, I think it was 4 power plugs for the SATA drives, but I have 5 drives and the good old HD DVD drive. So I'll be needing at least 1 more. And I think I will plug in 2 SATA drives, because the HD DVD drive goes right on top, and I don't think if I have another chain that it will reach up there. So it's just good to have one that is dedicated only to this peripheral. So we got here, sorry, we got here another chain, and I think should be good with still 4 more drives, because I will never put in this many drives, I think. So I take this slot here on the PSU again. There we go. And also stick it here through the hole that everything goes in the back, and where I need it, I just can pull it through again. Right, this was the power for the drives, the hard drives. The power for the graphics card. Right now we need power for the CPU and of course the motherboard. Where does the CPU get its power from? I'm assuming from all... Gesundheit! I'm assuming it just draws there from the input of the motherboard, but just to be on the safe side, let's see what the manual tells us. Because we aren't idiots, and we'll be looking at the manual. So there we go. There we go. ATX power connection. So we installed the DIMMs. So this one goes here, and we got 1, 4, or 4 and 4. So I think we'll be plugging in all the plugs we can find on this motherboard. Like I said, I'm assuming that the chip draws quite a lot of power, and we'll be needing every last volt or every last ampere. I'm not quite sure with what's the power and what's the current, and yeah, this is why I only deal in software. This is that I don't have to worry about this too much. What the hell is this? All right, yeah, this is for the graphics card, and this one here is the big bad power connector. So this one here goes into the PSU, and this one there goes into the motherboard. Good. Let's untangle this here, I hope. And you can see this one here. I think you can even just slide it off or break it off. Yeah, you can break it off, even that you can make it fit like so. I hope that this is what you're supposed to be doing. So let's try this one here. Yes. Yes, good, this fits, this looks good. And as for the motherboard, good. So there's only one way you can push it in, but still you want to make sure that you got it right and that you're not applying any excess force. By the way, if you look really closely, those stands here, those little holes, aren't all square shaped. Some of them have this little arch on one side, or just those corners are cut off. And of course the plug itself looks similarly. So you just want to make sure that it is aligned properly. And I think I have to flip it over like so. And this was wrong. By the way, apparently I didn't have to pull this off there, because as you can see here, yeah, it would have been better if I didn't have done this. But on the other hand, who cares? Nobody will ever see this or watch this video because it's already way too long. You want that it slips in there. This is good. And this little bridge here, or this little nose, or whatever it's called, that it's down there. Okay, so this is firmly in there. I'm just supporting the motherboard from the other side just to make sure that the plug is connected properly. Good, good. So maybe, yeah, this little canal or rail there is probably for the cables. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, I'm not concerned with airflow right now, because there are all the connectors for the SATA drives, and I really don't want to clog up this space already. So, but we still haven't connected the motherboard up to the PSU already. There's still something missing, and it's two 4 plugs, and this is also CPU, and yeah, it's 2 4 plugs and 1 4 plug. So we'll be connecting those up again also, and then I hope this machine will boot. This is a problem that I've had when I was building my second PC or something. It just wouldn't boot. It wouldn't boot, and I was close to tears. And then after some time, where I stepped back and went over all the connections, I realized that the motherboard on the other side also had a power plug, and which I didn't plug in. And so yeah, this was the case. Let's look at the PSU, what slots I still got. So you know what, that you can see better and that I can work better. Let's pull out what we just plugged in. Man, this is real tight. And you see here, this is where the CPU goes. So I will of course plug those in, CPU, so the other end. Where are we? PSU, yes. 1. This one goes here. And PSU 2. Good, so the bottom row from my side here in the PSU is occupied, which is good because I don't have to deal with trying to cram in another plug that's below there. So this is good. So now let's slot it all in, and then the motherboard at least should be done in terms of power. So the lower cable that comes out from the lower part there goes in here. I will plug it in there into the upper slot. Oh yes, of course. CPU. It's not quite in there yet. Now it is. Now it feels firmly in there. And then I still got this one here to fill. And there I need just one. So we can pick which side. And I will pick the left side so that the right one hangs out in the open. And yeah, it snapped. And of course, now we need to reconnect the motherboard plug into the PSU. And then we're done with the PSU. This is great because I'm already getting tired of this. No, don't get me wrong. Building a PC is fun because of all the possibilities you still have in the building page, in the building stage. But at the same thing, it's very exciting because you don't know if this whole thing will work or whether you need to do some fire extinguishing the first time you switch it on. So let's re-examine. Motherboard is in there, PSU is in there, motherboard is hooked up to the PSU, and we got also for the expansion slots and for the drives the necessary plugs. What we now need to do is to take a closer look at this ugly bunch of cables, which comes straight from the case. So I think those are all the connectors to the fan controls and the RGB lights, and what's on the front panel, so all those USB plugs and stuff. So let's go through them one by one, and I hope I'm able to distinguish what each of those plugs is. Okay, let's start with this one here. So this one looks to be the RGB lighting. So it says 12 volts GRB. So I'm pretty sure that it goes into the motherboard where the RGB lighting is. Next up, we have this one here, HD audio. This is also pretty self-explanatory. This is for the front audio panels. In case, should I ever be using the onboard sound, of course, then it's quite helpful and nice to plug it into the front panel and don't have to go diving underneath your desk just to get access to the audio jacks. Okay, next up, this one looks to be like, it reads SATA. So I'm pretty sure that this one is a power plug for either the Qi charger, this wireless charger on top, or the fans, or probably both. So we got two of these, so I'm assuming that one is for either. But yeah, it doesn't matter anyway because we have to connect them both. Good, what's next? Here we have those little four guys here. It looks like little faces, they're quite cute actually. Yeah, and you can see it plus P, LED, minus P, and so on. Those are the LEDs when you get activity on the hard drive, or the power LED, and if you switch on the power plug, and just anything that is related to the basic operation. And lastly, we have this one here. This one looks interesting. I have no idea what this is, but I'm assuming this is for the high-speed USB connection on front. But I will refer now to the manual because I don't want to tell you anything that's wrong. By the way, the manual, I was ranting yesterday, I don't know if I have it on camera, how bad this manual is because it only lists the parts and that's pretty much it. If you just look at this here, it's always the same thing. Those are the parts, this is the panel and so on, then it goes in the next language. Turns out, yes, if you have read everything and even the Japanese version, then it goes into the layouts and provides some nice guidelines of how to remove stuff, how to mod your case essentially. And I didn't find this the first time. It was just per chance that when I was throwing the booklet away in anger and rage, that I saw some schematics that look different than those that I've seen. And yeah, this is where everything is detailed in a bunch of languages, and most of them I don't understand, and even the drawings and the technical schematics are not as straightforward as you wish them to be. Yeah, HD audio, of course, and we have here USB 3.1 Type-C generation 2. So this is the USB 3.1, just as expected. Good, good. So let's hook them all up one by one. Or should we first insert the graphics cards? No, you know what? Because once I have the graphics cards there, I won't be able to easily move around the case. So yeah, let's hook them up one by one. Okay, which one is the furthest from where this one is coming out? What do we have here? The HD audio. Where does this one go? I think it goes right here next to this, what's it called? The Q code display. I think it goes onto those pins there. But again, let's reference the manual of the motherboard this time to be sure. So there we have it. And this is number 18. What is number 18? Front panel audio connector. Yes, this looks to be correct. Just have to make sure that we are not inserting the wrong way. And you can see here on the plugs, there is one blind one, as I like to call it. There is no hole there. And of course, this needs to correspond with the plug itself. And on this side here, there is one missing. So I just stick it on there. And again, you don't force it, but if it fits, yes. So I think this was the right orientation. Good. So next we have this one here, and I don't know if you can read it. It reads RGB header 1. So I'm assuming this is for the RGB lighting. So where do we have it here? Oh yeah, right. So the first one here is a 12 volts plug. So it's this one here. So if I flip it over, 12 volts is on the left side. And here on the panel, if you can read it, it also reads 12 volts to the left side. So this is why it should go on like this. This is pretty easy. I mean, everything is labeled. It's a little bit like IKEA, right? Oh, this didn't feel too good. I felt like I was bending the pins, but it's fine. This is fine. Okay, what's up next? The chassis fan 3, chassis fan 2, external fan, USB. Yeah, I'm not quite sure where I need to plug in the fan control. That's comes from the case. But for now, I will just try to plug it in there and hope that this makes sense. So there we got this little cable here, and it's even labeled. Okay, it's upside down, but it reads PWM, which is pulse width modulation. And I don't know much about this, but I think this one is controls how fast the fans are going. So since this cable is relatively short, I will stick it into chassis fan number 2. So again, it has those little plastic noses or bridges here, so that, yeah, it's just a safeguard that you can't plug it into the wrong direction. Good, so this one connects also. Good, so we got the front audio, the RGB controls and the fan controls. This is good. Now we have to take care of the SATA. Again, I'm assuming this is for power and not for anything related to hard drives. So I'm just to test things out if it really is. I will get here one of those power cables from my PSU. One of those. And see if it fits. So one is male, one is female of those plugs. So let's just give it a test to see if it works or if I got things right. And yeah, let's stick it on. Yeah, this is okay. So apparently, oh my god, this is quite tight. Okay, so you want to connect these two SATA male plugs into the female plugs that come out of the PSU. And since I've connected a lot of plugs now there for the drives, I'm not quite sure if I want to use to add another plug onto the PSU or just use those of the drives that I have. But the thing is, I think because I want, of course, the fans in the chassis to be always running and the lighting, the RGB lighting to be always on, or if you switch it off. The point is I won't be, once they're plugged in, I will probably never unplug this for the whole entire lifetime of this thing. So I will, you know what, I will just push it gently through to the back side there of the case. And when I'm connecting up the drives, I will also connect the power for the chassis fan. Okay, the final straw, almost literally, we have here is this little bundle of cables there. And like I said, this goes into this system pin connector. Again, this is just reading labels and acting accordingly. So what do we have to do? Good, so let's pick the smallest thing here and it says P minus LED. And where does it read here? P minus LED. So it's P LED minus. So boink, sticks. Good, the next one must be P plus LED. And it fits. Good, now we have power SW. Sorry, I'm German. For us, we pronounce W as V. So this is why I always say we. So sorry. I'm not quite sure where this goes because we have a different label here. It says ground and reset. I'm pretty certain that this goes onto here, but I'm not sure. So this is why I just keep this in one hand. And this is HDD LED and this is plus and minus. So quite certain that this goes on here. And let's flip this around here and we have speaker, ground, power LED. Oh, we don't even have a PC speaker in this thing. I'm almost a little bit disappointed. It's probably because I'm very nostalgic, but I always like my PCs to go on with a beep or beep or beep beep beep, but Maybe it has something on the motherboard, probably not. So yeah, we will, if there are any issues with this motherboard, we have to take a closer look at the at the error code. Okay, so it's power SW, so I'm assuming we stick it there to ground and power and hope that this fits. Okay, again, if you want to fit this on the board, if you turn this system plug around, it also has some pins that are not empty or filled. So you just want to match again the pattern. So it's just reading labels and matching patterns. So this low one here goes on to this one here. Yeah, I think this is correct. Yeah, it fits. So if the power plug is not working correctly, this is probably because I messed something up there. So just that we know, and now I have it on video, so we're certain on this. Good, so what is this? What the hell is this blue thing here? I almost forgot. This must be the USB thingy. Right, and we also got here on the board some USB plugs. Got USB 1, 2, 3, and 4, and U3. So this must be number USB 3, and I'm pretty certain that this one here will fit. Where is it? Give it a little bit of room here. And yeah, this blue nose there on top needs also to go on top of the plug. Yes, it firmly locked. Good. So there are two cables coming from this plug, so I'm assuming this goes to the front. And the last thing we have was this ultra fast thing here. Yeah, already having problems there with the cables. They are all over the place, and I haven't even connected up anything of my peripherals. Okay, so this cute thing here, this was the USB number 2, I think. So it fit, I am assuming it fits here, but the cable is almost too short. So I will be rerouting the cable. I will pull it through from the backside, give it some room, and stick it through this hole here from the backside so that this pokes up right here and enters this one. But before I'm doing this, I just want to make sure that this is really the plug that I want to connect. Otherwise, I'm in a very sad place. Where the hell is the manual? USB 3.1 generation 2 front connector. Yes, this is what we want. Okay, the case is now standing and nothing is falling apart yet. This is quite, this is almost more than I asked for. Okay, so let's turn it around. No, before I'm doing this, of course, I want this plug, but where is it? This one here. You just turn it around by 90 degrees and you completely lose your orientation there. Okay, so this is the cable and the plug. I will show you now on the other camera. So this is the cable and it comes through here. And you know what? I will now undo this little wire here that we can just get it across. Good. And just check on which side of the motherboard the plug is. And there is the plug. And snap. And should I give it some more room here or not? I'm not quite sure, but probably since the backside is pretty cramped anyway. I will give it a little bit of cable on the front side and a little bit cable here sticks on the back. And I think this should be it. All right, and finally, of course, those are all the SATA power plugs. So two go here into this drive, in this slot. Then we got 1 and 2 here. So those will be solely for the drives. And then we got this one here. This one where we'll have 1 for this drive, 1 for the drive on top. I see that it probably won't work as I thought. So because these two here, I need at least 2 for the case. So I will just plug them in right now. So this is case power jack number 1. There we go. Where's the other one? There's the other one. And Number 2, good. So these probably I will never ever disconnect because they come with the case. And now that I still have these two, they will power whatever goes there, any drives that go in this big slot here. So it's probably those big 2 3.5 inch things. And for those, yeah, those are all for the SSDs. And I think I will hook up another one that goes just for the good old Blu-ray player. But before I'm doing this, I need a break, and so do my cameras. And I'm back after a little break, and I realized that I will probably have to have an additional slot for hard drives, one of those here, because sometimes when I'm doing backups or copying over stuff from other drives, well, I need to stick a drive in there. Because of course you can also do this via USB 3, but it's the fastest in there, and especially when you're doing LTO backups, you really want the fastest speed that you can get. So this is why we're going to install an additional drive. So I will plug in all the SATA cables there and an additional one. So I think I will max out all the slots that I have on the motherboard. And I have this bad feeling that I think I've forgotten something, but we will get to this once we finish up with the components. I will stick those again through here, all those cables, because I don't want the whole heavy case to rest on some of those very intricate cables and connectors. And if they break, I mean, they aren't this expensive, but it's just, yeah, it's just not good when you start with a new PC build and the first thing you do is make cables go bye-bye. So it's already a mess with cables, and I'm don't even have the graphics card in there. By the way, I'm holding off to removing those covers there on the back until I'm actually be needing them. Okay, so as for the SATA cables, like I said, I still will be needing one power cable that goes from the PSU right up to the disk drive. But I'm not concerned with this because this one can happen quite late. Because I still got some power plugs there. They're easily accessible, so I don't really care. So good, SATA cables. There are already 2 of them. There is one which has this 90-degree connector there. Sometimes this is helpful if you're low on space. So we will be connecting up this one as well. So we got 1 and 2. I just put them there on the side. I know how many I have, because you can't have too many SATA cables. I will probably use some from my old computer as well, because I don't think that I will have enough for all that I need. So we got 2 more, 1, 2, so 4 in total, and I think those are all that came with the motherboard. But this is fine. This is fine. We still got some in my old computer, which we'll be taking out shortly. Okay, I got now 3 more SATA cables from the other computer. They are quite dusty, but this is just par for the course. So I got 7 cables now. Let's count up again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 1 for the drive, 6. And plus an excess one in case I should need it. So we're good. We're good. Cool. So let's hook them all up onto those little slots. So how many slots do I have? I have 6 slots there, which is barely enough. So I don't think my plans will work out that I will have 1 excess. Unless, of course, I manage to repurpose one of those connectors. Well, probably not. So let's just make sure that all those that I have will connect. So I'm just going one by one and hooking them all up. So this first cable here that goes up to this cage up here on top, where the DVD drive will reside. I don't know why I'm always picking it up to show it to you. But yeah, this is the DVD drive. This will go up here. And all the others will go, of course, to the corresponding slots. So I'm plugging them in just like I did with the power supply. The row that's away from me the furthest, so the bottom row on the drive, I will just connect up those first so that I don't really have to worry about ever having to access them again if anything shouldn't work out as expected. So I used to label all those with just 1, 2, 3, 4 with numbers, but in the end it doesn't matter anyway, because with modern systems it's not really important in what order your disks are connected up. In the good old days, this was really important, which one you had as a master and a slave, as it was called. So the first one on the bus and the second one. And this was also very important with disk drives or optical drives. Yeah, it was a real hassle. It was a real hassle. So now I got this nice bunch here, this bouquet of cables again. But one there goes up there. So those, I think I will all stick through this hole here right behind the motherboard if I manage to. If I don't, I will probably have to route them around, and just to make sure that they aren't obstructed, because you don't want to bend your cables too much, and then always give your corners of the cables enough radius to turn. And for this case here, this means that since my cables are coming out this way, that I probably won't be using those 2 slots here. Let's just count again. So 2 drives there, 2 slots occupied, 1 drive here, and 2 drives, 2 SSD drives here. So we will cover up these 2 slots and the topmost slot again, just to organize this stuff here. Where do I have my bag or my box of accessories? Yeah, this is those little plastic things that go in here so that you can cover up those slots in case you don't need them. And 1, 2, 3. So, good. Forgotten this one. I think this is the correct way to do this. Good, yeah, just enough that goes there. And you can also use this as a guidance for the cable, or as a cable canal, as it is called in German. I don't think anyone else calls it a cable canal, but I think it's quite cute. So, the other one. Good, number 2. Man, sometimes you really need 3 hands or more. You just need 3 hands, that's all. And now we're going to install the drives in their little cages first, and then we'll be inserting them one by one and hooking them up. So which hard drives should go in the bottom cage? The big problem that I'm having with this case is the only thing that I asked for, that is easy access to the drives. It's not quite providing it. Would I buy this case again? Probably not. I would settle for something else. But I was just searching for what's the best drive or the best case for a big cooler, and I think this one is the only one where it fits. But yeah, like I said, I don't really like how this is organized, but if anything else works, I can live with this. I can live with this. Good. So which drives should go in the bottom? Probably those drives that I won't be needing to change often, I hope. So got here my archive of digital photos. I got here my projects disk, and I got here another projects disk with my Dropbox on. This one with the photos is 8 terabytes, and the other ones are respectively 2 terabytes and 1 terabytes. So I might be switching one of those smaller drives. I mean, 2 terabytes small, but yeah, here we are. Might be switching one of those. So yeah, in the end, it really doesn't matter what I stick in there, because I probably have to take it out anyway. So yeah, the thing of how you mount this is that you take this cage here, where it has those little screws in front, and you just stick it through here. So you want to make sure that the connections on your drives go in the back. because this is where we'll be routing the cables. I think it's also possible to have it from the front side, but I don't think we want this. But now coming to think about this, maybe I want this, that I only have to open it up from one side and to get easy access to, you know what, doesn't matter, because I need to take them out of the cage anyway, and for this I need to unscrew the cage, and then I have to open up both covers, so what the hell. Good, so good old traditional way it is. You mount two drives there very easily. I mean, it has holes there, of course, for the screws. Then you just shove it in and see when the holes for the screws pop up, and just fasten them. And I think the screws are those flatheads. And the good thing is, since this is a "be quiet" exclamation point case, everything is made with noise in mind. So it has even these little damping rubbers there, which I'm quite fond of. Again, doesn't have to be tight, just enough to hold the drive. And this is nice because now this one has 4 screws per drive, and not like my like my old case where it just had 2 screws per drive, and you could check or at least decide which 2 holes you don't want to support. And I always had the feeling that sometimes when you're moving the old case, you could hear them chitter a little bit in their case. As you can see it with my hard drives, I always have those little labels here that I know which drive I have in there, and also on the other side there's a label that I know which drive is in there, because I've been burned too often before in my life that I went through the hassle of switching a drive and then it turned out it was the wrong one, or even worse, that you format a drive and it was not the correct one. So yeah, and also I print on the date when I first installed this drive, so I know that drives that are older than 2 or 3 years, they might one day break down. So yeah, it's just good to know that this one was first put into my computer on the 3rd of March 2018. So this will stay in there quite a bit. It's one 2017, so this is probably the first one I will be exchanging should I decide to do so. And since those are packed in there quite tightly, yeah, I'm not sure if this is the best solution in terms of thermal thinking. But yeah, we just have to make sure that there's enough air coming through. If I'm noticing that the drives get really hot when they're running in there, because this one will be running 24/7 most of the time. So if I notice anything like this, then I will probably unmount one of those drives there and will swap it with an SSD, so that one of those 2 drives in there get at least some room to breathe. Because it probably will take me at least a week to get my system up to speed, because when you're computing or gaming or whatever you want to call it for 20 plus years, you expect a lot of the system you're working with. Like Photoshop, a system without Photoshop or Notepad++ or Firefox is not a complete system for me. Good, so we got those 2 drives mounted in there with a little room to breathe between them. Good side is there is not much dust that can build up between those 2. Okay, so let's put it in there and hope for the best. Because this is pretty heavy, I hope that it will support itself. So, those are thumb screws, which I'm very fond of. But for the lower screws, I need a screwdriver nevertheless. Where is my screwdriver? Oh, of course, it's under the case. But yeah, again, I don't want to screw it in too tightly, just that it doesn't give way. Okay, so good. Just have the 2 drives in there, and then there's just one regular drive and 2 SSD drives, and the 2 SSD drives also can mount in one of those regular caddies or trays, or depending on where you are, how do you call it. But I think this should be good, should be enough. So this is the top with the 1 screw and the 2 screws go in bottom. Okay, let's do the same thing. This is the back side. Man, this 1 terabyte drive is much lighter than the heavy 8 terabyte drives. So it's good that this one goes on top so that it doesn't have too much weight, so that it doesn't fall off one day. Probably in the middle of the night where no one's there and just literally crashes with all your data. So let's knock on wood that this doesn't happen. Good, looks good. Let's pop this in. Maybe I should have put in the plastic covers later. So if I ever want to change a drive, I need to unscrew it here on the back side and then push it through and switch the drive in it. So I will need a screwdriver nevertheless. Okay, so as for the SSDs, I just need 1 caddy. So this is the top side. And from what I've learned is that I need different screws now. Always read the manual. Always read the manual. And this one here should mount on top, like so. And the other one goes on the bottom. And this is how I do this. So this is Scandium. This is the new one. Let's put it like so. It's going to be interesting of how to screw it like this. But I think once you see the holes poking through, okay, I'm having my whole hand in there now to support the drive that I can fasten the screws, but I think once you got the first screw, it shouldn't be a problem to get all the others done. You know what? I think I've been doing it all wrong because of course I need the contacts on the other side. Oh man, this is good that I caught this before I had all the screws in, because otherwise I would have thought, screw it, I will wire it from the other side. Come to think of it, does the screws even fit? I don't think so. Do I need different screws? No, I don't have any. Looks like they don't fit the SSD. Of course they don't. Okay, I need different screws. The screws are too big to get the SSDs there. So yeah, there's not much that I can do apart from dig for other screws. So I will probably have to take a break now and look for matching screws. Damn it! And I'm back! I was lucky to find 6 screws at least. I don't know where they're from, but always keep spare screws. One day you will need them or else you're screwed. And while I was digging for screws, I also found this one here. This is an Intel Core Duo. Here you can see the contacts. This is how small chips were before. Cool, so let's mount it with 6 screws, which means we can either mount it with just 2 screws and have 2 screws spare, but I mean, yeah, we can at least have 3 screws on each drive, and I think this should be good. Let's do this again. This should be easier now that the screws have the right size. Problem is that I had too much coffee today, so my fingers are a little bit jittery and I can't seem to get them in. So yeah, let's try putting in the screw first. Yes, this did the trick. This did the trick. And once one screw is in, of course, now that I'm only using 3 screws, again the crisscross method. The next screw should be on the opposite side, and I think 2 screws should be enough to keep it firmly in place. This is incredibly fiddly, really. I don't like this. I don't like this, but it's only this one, and then once more, and then we should be done. There we go. Good. So the first drive is in there, and now for the second. And now I can't stick in my whole hand anymore. So this one will be even worse than the other drive. Looks good. No, No, messed it up. And I will label this. Pro tip number 37, get a labeling machine. It's really fun. And also you don't have problems deciphering your handwriting after half a year, what this means. And like I said, it's really fun. You will label anything. I've once seen a labeling machine which had a label on it that read labeling machine. I shit you not. Okay, so I got the SSDs in there, and now since this on the upside one is flipped, of course I have also to flip there the power plugs and the SATA connection. So let's see how much of a hassle this will be, but it's only one drive in there, so I'm quite confident that it won't be too hard for us. So yeah, let's stick those two precious screws back in this little baggie that I had there, that I know, yeah, I will need to hang on to those. Okay, let's finish up this one here. Looks good. Also feels good from my perspective. And yeah, I don't want to over tighten it again. And looks like I got almost all the drives in there. The only thing missing is now the DVD drive. This one goes, of course, in front. So if I open up now here the case on front, just to show you real quick, this slider here is for the fan controls. And if I'm not mistaken, if it's on the position, the leftmost position, then the CPU or the BIOS essentially will take care of all the cooling stuff. Okay, so I just take out this slot here and we'll install the DVD drive. I think this shouldn't be too much of a problem. So just slide it in. Yeah, it already fits. And now just have to screw it tightly in place. Are those the correct screws? We will find out. Apparently not, because they don't fit. Okay. Another day, another try, but I still got those screws here. My wife is already laughing because she's much better at this than I am. Well, at least she's still laughing, so I'm not doing too bad. The thing is, despite the screws not fitting, because they fit through the frame but not into the holes of the drive, but I can just wedge the drive between all the screws and then it will also be securely held in place. So let's call this plan B. And plan A now is to get the last two precious screws we saved from the SATA installation, but I think we just use the top screw here. Yes, apparently the screws that I found belong to some kind of drive, so we only have two screws left, or now it's just one. So ideally I would have liked to have four. Look at this, now on this side there are 4 holes. So I'm assuming those 6 screws were the screws that came with this drive. So again, it's not optimal that I'm just using not even half the amount of screws necessary, but I think it's just enough that it doesn't fall off when I tilt the case the wrong way. It wiggles a little bit, but I think, let's knock on wood. Good, I think this should be all right. Good, okay, so we got, apart from the graphics cards and the sound cards, all the components in there, at least the most cumbersome components. And now let's wire them up. Those are all the SATA cables, and like I said, I don't know how I get them to the other side. I will try now to squeeze all those cables through this hole here and see how many fit through. Oh, good. 1, 2. We only need 3 cables, at least through this hole. Maybe we can use the other hole for the other cables. But just to have at least the appearance that I'm trying to do things tidy and orderly. So okay, those final 2, they belong to the 2 discs on the bottom. So I will stick them through this hole here instead. Good, this is it for the connections of data. And now for the power connections, what is this? Oh, this is for the graphics card. So I leave this in there, and it's already getting messy if you haven't figured it out. Flip it over once again. Now with all the drives in there, it's gotten quite heavy, but we're close to finishing up anyway. Okay, so here go all my SATA cables. So those two here on the bottom are for these two drives. I'm not going to connect them, but because first I want to connect all the power. So they, just that we know, those go here. Then we have here 3 for the files and these two drives there. And this one I wanted on the other side. So let's push it back through the hole, because this one is used on top for the CD drive. Okay, so this one should connect here, like so. And those are two, no, this is one flat connector and this is one connector that connects at an angle, like this. And this is probably not good, so I will use the flat connector for the topmost drive, like so. And try not to bend the cable too much, I hope, because the cover will go on there. So this will already be a little bit tight, quite a tight fit, but yeah, we will see. Okay, so we already got here the power for the case. Now we only need to power here the two drives. One, you don't want to break off, of course, those little plastic nibs there. Okay, good. Okay, so this is connected, but somehow this cable, of course, is a little bit too long, and I don't like the looks of this, to be frank. I just have to squeeze it here that the door will close up and use this screw here as a support. Yeah, this is not good. I completely understand what the people said when they talked about that there's not enough room on the backside here. So okay, that I'm not tripping over myself. I will stick all those cables that are left there. And we got 1, 2, 3 left there for these drives. Okay, so not a fan of how these things should connect there. Really not. Okay, so I need 2 there. 1 is rotated like so. God, what a mess. Who comes up with this? I mean, on paper, it's great that you can just insert 2 SATA drives in one slot, but since you have to turn one around, and then nobody thinks of the cables. Nobody thinks of the cables. Okay, there you go. And just one more. Finally, okay. I still got here 1 left, so that I will wedge it somewhere in between here, and you can see there where the cables are already over and under themselves. Oh, I really hope that I don't need to do this or to do some maintenance there any more often than necessary. Okay, so this one is already connected to the motherboard. The next one we will connect like so, but oh no, we can't. We can't because there is this bloody screw from the lower from the lower slot in there. Okay, can we do it here at least? Yeah, this fits. Oh, good. At least this fits, and the other thing fits here. Barely. No, you know what? Let's not do this, because now the cables are on top of each other and already getting clogged. But on the other hand, if I do it like this, no, maybe through the loop here. This is suboptimal, seriously. Okay, yeah, I will probably use some duct tape to tape this there. Man, I hate this, really. This is not good. I don't like how this looks, but yeah, whatever. Maybe let's reconnect this, that it doesn't go through the loop of this cable here. Yeah, this is a little bit better. Okay, so we still need to connect up this cable here. Problem is I can't fit this in here because the screw on this side is in the way. So I have this flat cable here, but I only have one flat cable here, which plugs in here, which is good. But now I need some way to wedge this angular cable there, and then it interferes with this one here. You know what? I think I can find another a flat connector in my old computer. Why not? Sure, why not? This was easier than expected. I've got another cable. Oh God, it's dusty. Of course it's dusty. The problem is now I need to somehow get it through the other side, connected to the motherboard again. I hope it's long enough, frankly. So let's push through the hole, this one here. Good thing is that the new cable is red at least, so you can easily spot it. Okay, so flat connector goes here. And through the hole. Oh. No wonder everyone loves the cloud, because you don't need hard drives. And once again. Okay, good. So here is the cable, but which one did we just disconnect? Okay, this cable here goes up into the CD drive and it fits, and I'm happy. And this cable here is the one we need to take out. Oh, good. It was easy to access at least. It goes in here. And we're good. And we're good. Now the CD drive only needs some power. Christ. Still got one of those here. This whole mess is getting to an end now, before all my the power on all my cameras is running out. So let's stick this one in here. And the other side goes here. It's a little bit with SATA connectors. It's a little bit like with USB connectors. Yes, you just need force. You just need force and violence. Good. Okay, let's pat ourselves on the shoulder. Now it's dusty, great. We've connected up the motherboard, the chip, everything has power. What's this? Oh, of course, yeah. And now we still need to somehow squeeze in the graphics card, the sound card, close this thing up, and cross our fingers that it boots. Okay. So as for the graphics card, good. Is there anything sticking out on this side? No, only cables. Ah! Oh, God. So the bird's eye view of my build as it is right now. And you can see the cable management means all the cables manage somehow to end up where they belong. And this is what I call cable management. Okay, the graphics card, let's put all this mess there aside. The graphics card will go in this slot here, and the sound card will probably go into this slot and this one here. And I will have this one here and this other PCI-E slot open for any extensions. Let's unscrew this one here. Oh, man, those screws are so tight in there. It's as if they don't want you to ever mess with their beautiful case. Damn it. Okay. I really like it, my old case. As you've seen before, it had this orange clamps. This was much easier to do. So, okay, so the second one comes much easier loose. Okay. Good, so let's give this a try. Should have done this before. Huh. Wasn't as dusty as feared. Good, so. Yeah, this was the side panel. That this thing here plugs into the PCI-E slot, and just make sure that this little tab here, now it's closed and now it's open. Of course you want to have it open, because when it slots in, then it snaps back. So this is just one thing to look out for. Otherwise you apply too much pressure and still don't manage to get it in there. Okay, so how the hell does this go and fit in there? Does it even fit? Okay, and there we already have the problem here with the cables on this side. So I'll try to give at least some room to the graphics card. You need to really make sure that it snaps in there. Okay, and it went in easier than expected, and it feels pretty rigid, which is good. Now I just have to screw it tight there. Yeah, like I said, I really like my older computer where it had this clamp, so you wouldn't need any kind of screws. But on the other hand, I really like having screws now because none of the component cards was ever in there without some kind of wiggling or jiggling, and it always felt that it was a little bit on the dangerous side how things were in there. So does this go in there? Okay, now the screw is stuck. Great. Great, we're having so much fun today. Okay, turns out I was being an idiot. The card was not in there aligned properly. So I really need to push it from this side here and then somehow force the screw in once more for the top screw. If you can, you want to avoid hitting or scraping across your expansion cards with the tip of a screwdriver, because when you slip and it just goes over there all over the components. And I'm not quite sure if this happened to me once or not, or if I just heard a story, but either way it wasn't fun because from what I recall the component was broken. Okay, graphics card is in there. Now we only need to hook it up to the power. Where is the graphics card plug, which I so neatly saved? There it is. There we go. So this one also has just one way of how it goes in. But like so. 1 and 2. Good, okay. Graphics card also has power. Our airflow is rather messed up here in this case. And now for the last part, the sound card. The sound card, only the top one has here this little PCI-E plug, and the other one just, you can put it anywhere in where you want. This is supposed to go like so. And the lower one is just for in and out. Okay, so we will need to unscrew. Was it this one? Or yeah, let's unscrew this one here, and then it's probably know that it wasn't the right one, and then we're still good to go. Okay, as you probably have seen there, it's still tethered to the other card, so let's unplug this here for now. Just can fit it in. And this one is also a bit dusty, as all my components are. And no, of course not. I unscrewed the wrong cover. So now I've got room for all those two cards. Okay, the first one with the connector slides in very, very easily. Let's screw it in also. Good. And yeah, it sticks out a little bit, but this is fine. You know what I've just realized I forgot to put in the second hard drive. This one here, the 500 gigabyte M2. But I think barely, but still the slot is accessible. So we will finish up with the sound card and then do the pro stuff of inserting this one as well. Good, good. Damn. Where's the screw? Things are coming along. I always forget something. This is cool, this is nice, this is healthy. So I only need to hook up second sound card. There we go. And let's take care of the hard drive. Underneath all this mess of cables there is a slot. You can see those two holes there. And these two holes, there's a metal bar that connects to this. And in the middle, this is the slot where the M2 drive goes. And it's good because this is all already cooled there by the cooler that sits on top of the CPU. So let's open up here this drive. I don't care if I destroy it now. I just want to get it over with. Seriously. Oh my god, this is cute. I mean, look at this. This is so small. And this is 0.5 terabyte. Oh man, I love the future. I love the future. So, good. And this one just sticks in there into the motherboard. I think this is what came with it. Let's put my drive somewhere here. This is crazy. And that you don't break it off. It goes on this kind of metal support or metal rail. There. As far as I know, it just goes on top of this one. Oh, the way. Oh, damn it. Ah, good. It goes onto this thing like so. And then you just screw it. You fasten the screw here. And then you just screw this onto the hard drive. I think this is how it's supposed to go. Really have to make sure of how much you want to extend this down below here so that it still connects, but that you don't mess it up. So I think like so, that it's flush here on the bottom, I think. So let's put this aside and have a look at those little pins there. Okay, we got two tiny little screws. Those are probably to fasten it on the motherboard. This will be fun now that all the cables are around it. And this thing here, I have no idea what this is, but I think it goes like so. Well, we will find out. M2 installation. Okay, so 1, you unscrew it here from the top. 2, you put this thing on, and number 3 through, and then you stick what? I don't understand precisely what this is supposed to mean. Okay, let's first make sure that this is aligned correctly. So the small pins go there, like so, and it goes in like this onto the motherboard. Okay, this is good. Now let's only find out what the hell this is supposed to mean. I don't get it. I don't get it. You know what? I will put it aside for now and screw this in here, and then maybe we'll figure it out. Okay, so it doesn't go in like this. It goes in like this, apparently. Oh, this was close. Almost dropped a tiny little screw somewhere into the case. Okay, so I got the screws in there now. And I really have to be careful that I'm not losing them. I'll be trying now to sit this on top. Man, I had too much coffee today. And I think I got it, at least the first one. Oh no! No, so close. And now I just bumped the tip of the screw and now it's somewhere on the motherboard. Okay, somehow, for some reason, I was very lucky now. Okay, I don't know how, but I made it. At least this part here. It's fastened to the motherboard there. And now I really have to reconsider what to do with this thing here. Ah, I think now I know what I want. So you put this in, you turn it, that this plastic thing there is on top. Then you stick it in and it clamps like this. It just pinches it, I'm assuming. So is this the right side? Yes. Yes, it fits. And now flip this over here. Yes. Okay, I think I got it now. Okay, good. It has only taken me like 100 hours to do this. Since another battery is close to dying on all of my devices, let's close this up real quick and I will go into the other room and switch it on for the first time, and probably something won't work and then we will come back to it. Okay. Yeah, I've got all those nice little cable ties and stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to use them. At least for now. Maybe when I'm in the mood some other time that I will that I will really try to make some room there, but for now I just want to finish this up. Which side does this go? Oh, apparently it's the back cover, right? So where's the tempered glass? Oh god. You really don't want to tamper with this. You know what? I will still keep the plastic on just to be sure. Okay. Where was the front side? Where was the back side? Where does this need to go? Yeah, this case is not for me. Okay, good. So still got my glass of screws. Let's screw the top first, that it doesn't fall off. I'm already regretting this, that I'm closing this up, because I'm so sure that I will need to open this up in 10 minutes again, because something is not working. Okay, the good thing is at least I managed to get the cooler in there and it's not breaking anything. Oh, right, of course. Yeah, I probably need to open this up again, because in my zeal to get this freaking thing off, I unscrewed one of the screws that holds the glass in place. But like I said, I will probably be opening this up again. Let's not bother. Okay, and now for the back side. Good. So let's see. This is a real issue I'm having with all those cables there. Let's hope I can finish this up quietly and quickly and manage to squeeze all those cables. Oh man, this doesn't feel good. I can feel the cables that I'm pushing, all those cables there somehow in there. Who thought of this? This is not the best way to do this. Okay. On top it's no problem, but on the bottom, oh, damn it. I hate this case already. I hate this case already. Oh god. I'm pressing my chest against it now that it stays closed. This is like packing your suitcases, but for now, I think I got it. So let's just close the screws here. Come on. Yeah, I like my old case better, to be frank. With all its little inconsistencies and stuff that's not working, but at least I never had this kind of problem. Whatever. Okay, so I didn't manage to get this screw tightened. You can't quite take it out, which is good, so it doesn't fall off, but then again, I can't even look through and see if there's a screw hole anywhere underneath or not. Okay, so this has been quite a journey. Oh my god, this thing is heavy. But so far I'm pretty happy that somehow I managed to get it all in there. And now I'm just a little bit in awe or even terrified of this whole case here, whether everything works or not. What I didn't install, of course, were the RGB lighting strips, because I don't care about this. But my assumption is that somewhere in there will be some blinking colored lights, whatever. So yeah, if there's any update on how this went, I will probably make a short insert video. But right now, after I think 6 hours of working on this beast, I say I'm done for now. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Once this is up to speed, I will be able to finally continue with the Post Mortem. And yeah, see you soon, and thank you so much for watching. So, there's the beast now under my table. It's all connected and hooked up. On the back there, this is Connie's computer. And yeah, let's, lo and behold, and switch this thing on. Oh god. Okay, this is the smoke test. Okay, I can hear it. Do I have anything on the screens? It doesn't beep, which is good or bad. Okay, I don't hear anything anymore. And also, I don't see anything on the screens. Oh, hang on. I got an image. New CPU installed. Please enter setup and configure your system. No keyboard detected. No keyboard detected. Press F1 to run setup. So almost everything is running nicely. The thing is, I did something wrong now with this installation, last minute installation of the M2 card, because they don't show up here, which is a bummer. But then again, hey, I can open it up again and do some cable management. So, yay. 1 hour later. Okay, turns out the problem was that this SSD here, which I had in this slot here, this is the second M2 slot. And according to the manual, it says here that the second M2 slot only accepts a PCI storage and not of the SSD type, as far as I've learned. So I think this one is just in the wrong socket. So I tried quite a lot to get these 3 screws unscrewed. And as you can see, it finally happened. But it took me really an hour and a lot of do-it-yourself stuff. You see, this here, let's zoom in. This here is the stripped screw. As you can see, it's hardly possible to get any kind of grip there. What finally got it out, really, I was just so lucky that this worked, was this flathead screw here that was a little bit bigger than the screw itself, and somehow it kind of wedged itself in there and got it out. For the others, I used, as you can see here, I used rubber bands and adhesive tape and even my wife's nail polish just to get it stick to it. First, I even tried some kind of super glue, but we didn't have any super glue, so it didn't work. So finally, I can take it out here and will probably never ever put this on again. Oh, look, there's even there some sticky tape there. This is helpful. So I just want to say, screw ASUS for the incredible amount of force that was necessary to get these screws out. Seriously, this is not nice. This cost me a lot of grief. Yet an hour later, as I'm assembling this up, it turns out something jingles in there. And what was it? Well, the motherboard screws. Turns out I used the wrong screws to screw the motherboard because they keep falling out. Just let me show you if I zoom in here. Oh yeah, I've cut myself just now on the fan blades. So really be careful with those. Those are super sharp. So yeah, you see the lower one. This is the screw that I tried to fasten it with, but it needs to be done with those big screws. So yeah, again, I'm just removing components and installing the right screws. Geez, really, let's hope that this SSD underneath there is working. Why? Next update. It seems to work, but the thing is, this is the one from my notebook, which I just took out to test if it works. So, looks like I have to copy over on my notebook first everything that's on this stick so that I can use it with my new computer. So, it's gonna be a long night. It's working now. And what did I do differently? Nothing. I've looked up in the internet and other people were having the same problem. It turns out the BIOS just doesn't show the drive. But the Windows installation does. So everything was fine from the start. Well, crap. So now I need to cancel an order that I just placed half an hour before on Amazon for a different drive, so I can just see whatever works. But this apparently does so. And another update, I just realized that I probably was doing the hookup of the graphics card to the PSU wrong. As you can see here, I'm using just one cable with this split here, which is not recommended. So once my computer is finished installing Windows, I will crack it open again and plug in one of these here so that we have this setup here. Do you hear this? Go to bed, birds. It's not even 4. Wait. Oh, damn. So, the video you just saw, I edited it on my new machine. Everything works fine, so there's a happy end at least to this insane 3 hours and then something. So as my little treat for you, because all of you are eagerly awaiting the next Post Mortem, and believe me, so am I, there's a little treat for you, so I got a short little sneak peek for what's to come for the Ludum Dare 42, oh my god, it's the 42 Post Mortem. So again, thank you so much for watching and enjoy. The days and weeks before had been exhausting, as I had worked my butt off to free the weekend and 2 days to recover of any other concerns. On the afternoon of the jam day, I wanted to chill in one of my favorite cafes, but I was having a bad time, throbbing headaches and feeling tired despite the gallons of coffee. Or maybe because of it. The writing had been on the wall, and I had decided to ignore it. That time, the jam would start 3 hours earlier than usual, an experiment especially us European jammers benefited from. Unless your sleeping cycle is as messed up as mine.